Come on, really? Grown-ups. Right. Well, when you're feeling super hot or super not, it's Pedialyte. Yes, really.
Life moves at the speed of hockey, but you can count on Enterprise, home or away, to always be there with you.
All right, everybody. It all comes down to this Monday night, June 24, 2024. How's everybody doing out there today? I got Alec Nava here with me, coached by Kris Knoblauch, are the Edmonton Oilers. It's Connor McDavid, RNH, Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, Warren Fogle, Dylan Holloway, Darnell Nurse, Philip Broberg, Adam Henrique, Matthias Yan, Mark Connor Brown, Derek Ryan, Ryan McLeod, Corey Perry, with Brett Kulak and Cody Ceci. Stuart Skinner will be the goaltender of record. And head coached by Paul Maurice are the Florida Panthers. It sounds like this: Alexander Barkov, Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Reinhart, Gustav Forsling, and Aaron Ekblad, Sam Bennett, Evan Rodrigues, Matthew Tkachuk, Nico Mikkola, Brandon Montour, and Tom Lundell, Eetu Luostarinen, Vlad Tarasenko, Kevin Stemlin, Ryan Lundberg, Nick Cousins, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Dmitry Kulikov in the back end with Big Bob, Sergei Bobrovsky. Alec, I've done a few of these. You've been working all the way across the board and all this. I know there's going to be a little bit of nervousness tonight, but it's Game 7, regardless of whatever has been said. And I know Owen's had a lot of stuff to say as a Canadian, but it's winner take all. And again, Florida, they still have the destiny in front of them, and so does Edmonton. How do you see things tonight?
How I see things is that it may be a tight scoring game. I feel with the upper of the scoring chances and the majority of the rushes. They've dominated games 4 through 6 is telling about how this turnaround has been. And feel this comeback was no fluke of theirs.
Nope.
They've capitalized off Florida's miscues. They've capitalized off of the Panthers being a step slower than them on every occasion. And the Panthers, they look sluggish. And I want to talk about Sergei Bobrovsky. How is he doing? Well, Paul Maurice pulled him over to have a little more of him to try and get his groove back up. He was not in practice yesterday for maintenance day, but it was for Bobrovsky trying to get his cool, his routine back up in the morning in practice for this game. For the Oilers, they did say that Nugent-Hopkins, he was under the weather. Went up, though. How much of that is going to affect him is yet to be known. For him being under the weather. The only other absence yesterday in practices was Aaron Ekblad Maintenance Day. But it's all down to the wire. We can expect this to be half Panthers, half Oilers on the ground because Oilers fans, they're flooding Amaranth has been shut down for this game. The mosh pit is all filled up as early as 5 o'clock Eastern time. They're ready. The Panthers and we are ready. The Oilers, they see the writing on the wall. They on the line. The team of destiny, bound to break Canada's curse. The Panthers, jobs on the line, reputation on the line. It's more than just a cup for them.
Yes, it is. And again, you talk about Bobrovsky and the maintenance thing. The save percentages was 749. A little bit, and they also need the offense to percolate a little bit for Florida. Honestly, for Edmonton, really, when it comes down to it, they don't have to change a thing. But I do think Florida has involved themselves in some problems, as you talked about. The way that they love to forecheck and create chaos, we've seen this, Alec, especially in games 4 through 6. There isn't any defenders back behind when the forwards pinch, and then it's just odd man rushes all day long. That's how it's been. That's how Edmonton's gotten back into the series. They've also played fantastic defense, and the penalty kill has been near automatic, as we've said throughout, but a 95% marker. But that's what has to change. So let me get in the sense of the Game 6, 5-1 victory, utterly lifeless performance by the Cats, with the exception of Barkov and Mikkola, but it didn't matter that the Barkov goal was called offsides off the overturn. Bobrovsky was just 16 of 19 in the loss. Skinner only had to stop 20 of 21 in the victory. Oilers won the game on the stat, really, to me, 18-5 on takeaways. That was glaring. And the Panthers looked to clawed and out of hope entirely. McDavid didn't even need any points. He didn't need any shots. Fogle, Henrique, Hyman, with empty netters. And in Game 7, this is what sets you up here as we're going to be getting into the anthems. Florida has never won a Stanley Cup. They lost in '96. They got swept by the Colorado Avalanche. and they lost in 5 games last year, 2023, to the Vegas Golden Knights. Edmonton, the last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup, was the Patrick Waugh-led Montreal Canadiens in '93, where the Oilers last won it in '90 against the Boston Bruins in 5 games. So no matter what happens tonight, this will be one of the greatest upsets in sports history if the reverse sweep does happen, or we're going to see history for the Florida Panthers for the first time. So we can really watch that in between Edmonton and Florida. And here's the thing, if you want to have any sort of belief here for the Cats, because we're going to try to keep it neutral, but you know where I'm leaning here. Computer Stratomatic, I've talked about this a couple times alongside Alec in the pregame, has picked every winner through all 6 games. Stratomatic pick tonight, and I won't leave you in suspense. The Panthers avoid the reverse sweep. They win 3-2 in overtime. It looks like Cooper could be right, and maybe we really will get the game we've been asking for.
Well, yeah, as we say, this is the most anticipated game in the NHL since 1994 in that year's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. All the hype, all the anticipation, all the narratives, they may be coming to a tonight as we continue to witness history one way or another. Connor McDavid will have to know how many points he ends up in this postseason. It was brought up back in Game 5, but the possibility of him winning the Conn Smythe Trophy even with the Oilers losing. And while the initial notion between the majority of us was no, well, now to be a change. The Panthers, they want to recover from the demons that they faced in games 4 through 6, even in the third period of Game 3, where they were sluggish. Regroup, refocus. That's easier said than done, knowing what happened in games 4 through 6.
Yeah.
The crowd here, half Panthers, half Oilers, and they're having a chant hop before the bench. No matter what happens, Oilers Nation is proud of the team. Can't say the same for the Panthers. It's basically do or die at this point. Literal must win to avoid a catastrophic collapse.
Yes, it is. Very interesting that Alanis Morissette is doing the national anthem of the Canadian side. She's a Canadian legend. They had Our Lady Peace perform a couple games ago, so they've kind of put out all the stops. What are they going to do for Florida on that end? Because that seems like a home ice advantage, even though it's supposed to be a 50-50. So Cooper let me know, Alec, he's not going to be able to join in on the broadcast tonight, so it's just the duos for us. I imagine things will still get a little rowdy. I'll leave you the coin toss of whether you want to, or I'll take the second, but we can split it up evenly and see where we go here.
Hey, we can split it evenly. I think you're going to be the one leading it up. I let it off last game. Let's make it fair between the both of us.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. So Alanis Morissette's going to do both of these. I was just interested to see if Florida had anything else up their sleeve. Again, they kind of gave you the reset. We gave you everything across the board. You might have even saw a piece from me on social media where they had some people in the Detroit market that are not pulling for Ken Allen, and some that are. I think some that are need some heavily medication, and they're keeping these drug companies alive here on this side. That's all I'll say. I want to see if the Florida Panthers can allow themselves to play a much better game, as we talked about alongside Alec and for Edmonton. I really think they have the momentum, but I will say this. I think the pressure will be on them for the first time in this series. Play free and easy, but you're also in a situation where I think you are favored tonight, Alec. I would say that in utmost honesty. Forget anything that Vegas throws out there. You've been dominant over the last few stretch of games. Your friends and family are in the building. Again, Florida admitted that that was going to be a problem for them, and it really was in Game 4. We saw that in the 8-1 demolishing. Now, Edmonton's going to get a chance to feel this for the first time. And as well as they played, you know they got to feel some pressure. But I think at the most part, as we've talked about, Florida has to score first. Enough of this on 2 or 3-0. If they do that again, this is going to be over.
Yeah, when they do that again, it's a series thing against them. It is over in a snap. Stop being cute with this puck.
Yes.
And the adjustment that they made. Yeah, we talked about last game that they bring up Oliver Ekman-Larsson onto the top power play. They made another adjustment on the power play here. They moved Carter Verhaeghe to the second unit and moved Vladimir Tarasenko to the first unit. They're saying that may be a move that could catch the Oilers by Verhaeghe. He's looked off his element.
Yes.
Tarasenko, part of that third line that we brought up time and time again, and Stevie, that third line is has looked very strong here in the final. It may not have the stats to bring that up, but still, it may be a confidence move for Tarasenko as we see Roberto Luongo, who is banging a drum for Canucks, and a special advisor to General Manager Bill Zero.
We'll say this about Verhaeghe, because again, it hasn't been talked about because the whole team hasn't played well, but Carter Verhaeghe in the last stretch of 4, 5, and 6 is a minus 11. So you can take anything about Darnell Nurse and throw that out the really need him to step up. They really need Reinhart, Tkachuk. Honestly, Reinhart, Tkachuk, Verhaeghe have to play well, I think, if they're going to win this game tonight. And as you talk about Alec on the other side, if the bottom six continues to roll for the Edmonton Oilers, all systems are go. There's not going to be a lot of pressure on McDavid and Draisaitl.
No. So we see both goaltenders in their second ever Game 7. They won their only other ones. Bobrovsky last year at Boston, Skinner this year at Vancouver.
So I will give you some updates across the other game that's going across the board. But right now, we will be locked in between Edmonton and Florida Game 7. I'll diligence to keep everything as simple as possible. Chance right out in front for Adam Henrique, and that was already a big save for Bobrovsky. That was just 30 seconds in. And Tom Lindell off the back skate will shovel it towards Skinner. There's a big rebound, but now Nico Mikkola's got to get back on his horse. So Vincent Desharnais, Evander Kane, he would draw into this series, but they've been playing so well on the thing. So it's winner take all between both. It'll be the first Stanley Cup in franchise, first 90 for the Edmonton Oilers as this one sent in. Skinner will watch. This was not iced. This will slowly send this around. And now Bennett, as he chases, again, as we talked about, if Florida continues to do that, it doesn't watch who's behind them. They're going to get burned, much like they did in the last 3 games. Both teams have exchanged 3. Really only one of these games has been close, as I talked about in the open as well. So we're expecting this one to be a little bit tighter considering what's at stake. 16 of the 17 Stanley Cup final games under 5.5 goals. So we know defense is going to be at a premium, and you got to make sure you make the right play. As it's spun back around now, Warren Foegele in his own end will start and stop. It's picked up off the backhand by Dylan Holloway, as this will go back around the end boards for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Wall, Kulikov able to make the play and find the entry as this one's flipped in. OEL settle it back down again. Here's a seam pass. This might be an opportunity for Okposo to go pick it up. Double team off a hit. It's going to put some of the Florida fans to their feet. Again, this is going to be an even mixing bowl. We don't see it in the camera. There are a lot of Oilers fans in the precipice here at Almer Bank as this is spun around the end boards for Skinner. I'll slowly put it around the embankment as the Oilers now will try to take this one left to right and across center ice. Here's a good skate through and a long shot. This one gets blocked. It'll fall to Bobrovsky. Foegele takes a late cross check from Mikkola.
If we have a penalty here on the way, John.
I'm going to see if there is any sort of high stick here. That's what Ray Ferraro is talking about, and I'll lead into it once I see it.
Brandon Montour, he was down first. Kris Knoblauch maintaining his cool, but Oilers do not walk. Plus, we mentioned about Harris. Good catch the Oilers off guard. Warren Foegele was winning it too for a high stick.
Very interesting. I know Warren Fogel's trying to attack the puck there. I know he didn't want to get a stick up high, but it looks like he didn't have anywhere to go either.
You were between a rock and a hard place, and if you're Warren Foegele and you're being put in a bad position on the ice, I don't think there's much.
So we'll go ahead and get a new centerman here for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe not. They'll push Derek Ryan back in. Try to see what we can get here with Barkov. This would be big for him to win it. Honestly, this would be huge for Florida just to get things started. And what a better way to get the ball rolling is if you can finally score a power play goal. If you can finally answer that Edmonton penalty kill. They've only been able to do it once. Tkachuk. Now up the left side. Reinhart will watch as it goes to Oliver Ekman-Larsson to the net. This one's solved by Skinner with the glove, and we'll do it again.
So first save of the game for Stuart Skinner. Maintaining his cool on the penalty kill. The Oilers allowing just 4 penalty and power play goals all playoffs. That's how dominant they've been. But so far, the Panthers were led by Paul Maurice, who's undefeated in career Game 7s. but he's never been put in a situation where he has to win a Game 7 for a cup.
Here's a race for the puck now, shorthanded RNH. Again, you got to make sure you watch what's behind you. We talked about that all series long. Reinhart, find the entry. Here's a pass that bounces off the skate of Tkachuk. Barkov now trying to find it as the Oilers able to take a long flip. Game opening shorthanded goal in 2 games this series. They've have the propensity of scoring late in the first, early in the second, kind of taking that advantage of taking the Panthers right out of the game. So how will things change? Tarasenko now. Barkov, the left side red line. Here's a centering feed. This will work out. Go right back to Ekman-Larsson. Took a friendly bounce. Now cross-ice pass. Barkov has it settled. Oh, he tried to find Tarasenko there, but the pass was too far. He would have been wide open. Here's a chance down the other way. Matthias Janmark slows up, takes a huge hit. Ice, drop it back for Evan Rodrigues. This was a very poor pass. Now the other way as this one gets picked off. Derek Ryan. Not sure what Evan Rodrigues and Tkachuk were trying to do there. They'll get a chance to start again. Sam Bennett. 5 boards. Anton Lundell trying to chip in as this will be flipped all the way back down by Edmonton. Certainly not losing any steps in between these 3 days off. Montour. Now Bennett. And entering the left side blue line. It's Verhaeghe off the back pass. And that was easily read by Bouchard. Trying to be pinched in by Lundell. Off the left side wall. Verhaeghe in between his legs. Now working his way on his backhand toward the right side dot. It's Rodrigues. Turn and spin. Scores! Florida finally gets first blood.
A deflection right in front, and none other than Carter Verhaeghe to put one at the back of the net.
Unbelievable. I feel like I'm about to pass out during the call, and I mean that most propensity here because I'm waiting, or I'm leaning here. We're going to try to be neutral on both of these and be excited, but that was just sent toward the net. This one gets tipped. A beautiful look. Lets it fly, and Carter Verhaeghe needed that badly.
That was a beauty for Verhaeghe. Slid it right under the right pad of Stuart Skinner. That was a tough one for Skinner to stop by. He thinks it was going to the left side. Nope, turn it right it goes.
First lead since game 3. Let that sink in. That's about 8-9 days ago in the sense of what's happened with Florida. A lot has changed since then. If you miss a game, you missed a lot. Stuart Skinner, 2-2 on the shot board. Verhaeghe with the tip. Press. Got to be careful right across the middle of the ice. That was Draisaitl. And a back pass. Somehow Forsling able to get a piece of it, but Edmonton was almost jailbreaking right down the middle of the ice. Here's an opportunity now for Barkov. Is this one sent in now? Ekholm. Now to the left side. Here is Hyman. Able to gain the zone. The shot gets blocked in front of Bobrovsky. Again, Florida has to be on their P's and Q's on defense, and they do need Bobrovsky to have his game 1 form. Maybe not in entirety, but he needs to be able to get closer back to that because there's going to be a lot of pressure on him as well. As this one's dumped in. This is knocked away from Okposo across center ice. Edmonton now with a touch pass. Intercepted beautifully by Florida. Montour now trying to get this across the left side of the dot. Picked up now by Okposo. Working his way in behind the net off his forehand. He gets to find their way out of their own zone right now. Evan Rodrigues back on the ice from getting that primary assist as Oliver Ekman-Larsson tried to steal the puck. Good hit. Taken away from Darren. Here's Kulikov. Fire it back in. Florida looks very good early, and they're getting on this puck. We have not seen this in several games. Sent down. Back to Florida as they'll start again. Kulikov, touch pass. Will go D to D from right to left as this goes in across the wall. It's knocked away. Tkachuk trying to finish his hit. Big one near the players' bench as Bennett tries to pry it loose. Back to the Florida defense and Gustav Forsling. Forsling now left side red line. Will send this one in. Played in off the backhand. Luostarinen gets shoved off the puck. And now Edmonton shovel. Fake! Janmark scores!
Oh my tie this one up. If you want to be a Game 7 hero, look at Yama who got loose. Wow, what a feed off the near side boards. And gets on the board yet again. It's not shorthanded this time around, but he's going to take it any which way.
I'm going to tell you this. Matthias guys like Connor Brown, but Matthias Janmark has been a superhero for the Edmonton Oilers right now. I know he's not going to go ahead and get the Conn Smythe, but honestly, in these last few games, Alec, he should be mentioned.
Yeah, he should be mentioned up there. Vern Liner, who can kill penalties and can score on breakaways. That is huge for him. And to be a Game 7 hero, that's going to start things off.
Holy cow, what a start to this game right now. As Barkov off the backhand, trying to find Verhaeghe again. It's loose as Skinner was swimming in the goal crease. Forsling, settle it down. I guess we're going to get up to a fast. As this one played in off the left side boards and behind the crease of Skinner, and that's a shame for Florida because they're playing so well. But yet again, they're burned. Man, Forsling fans on a completely shot up high. This one bounces Panthers. 5 for 5 on breakaways this series in games 3. Can't do any better than 100%. You could say that. And I'm not a math major. As this one's sent back down again. This will be not iced as Montour will start it again. Fogle was on the prowl as Florida tries to find it again. At least right now they look unbothered as this game is essentially reset to at 1-1. But still, those breaks, that's how Edmonton is making their money. Nicola wants the puck badly. This one goes near the left board as this goes all the way back down the ice. 11:56, we get an icing.
That was so close for Florida. And Darno Nurse was on the bad end of the plus-minus spectrum. That he might have got another one on the minus side. It was so close. It just went wide of the left post by mere inches.
Alec, are you surprised that this game has started as quickly as it has?
No. These two are known for fast-paced starts, and we are getting exactly that.
Skinner makes a couple saves as this one gets sent to push this pace all the way to 100 here. We'll see if this maintains in between the second and the third, because I have to believe at that point it's got to slow down a little bit. Bennett now off the chip for Tkachuk. It's one-on-one against Cece as he flattens him there. Near the right side, picked up off the backhand. Tkachuk will shovel this around the end boards, and Edmonton quickly gets this down the ice. Evan Rodrigues will get there for hybrid icing. Another icing against the Oilers.
If I'm the Oilers, you need to get it before the red line. Not hard enough for it to be icing, but not slow enough for a good rush on the opposition. As you see, Janmark pumped out Corey Perry, who has not won a championship in 17 years. This is either going to be a story of losing or
Always in the big dance, but it shows you how hard it is to win one. As we're in game 7, Lombard now off the chop. They're mixing it all right now. Okposo trying to get a piece of it. So Paul Maurice trying to keep all the again. Draisaitl and McDavid. Their minutes have steadily because they were about 17 minutes on that side. They're usually playing about 24, 25. As the sound was lost on the ABC feed for a moment, but we still got the feed for the video. Into the traffic. Stemlin now trying to watch as this is a good pinch by the defense here, but again, you got to watch who's behind you. As Edmonton will go ahead and take a waft. This one bounces off Florida body. Offensive zone time, 2:42 for the Cats, 1 minute for the Oilers, but the quick strike from Matthias Janmark answers the goal from Evan Rodrigues. That's where we are as we're almost halfway done with the first. It's been a fast-paced start, drawn underway alongside Alec Nava. We'll take it through all the way. As this is now slammed in off the boards. Find an entry for Florida. Off the drop, Verhaeghe got his dancing shoes on. And this one in behind gets blocked. Goes back in behind the cage of Skinner. Trying to send that right toward the right side post. Forsling. Last one to get there, but Hyman gets the steal. See if he can get some reinforcements. You got to make sure you have people around there and have to watch for that back pass. Shot goes high. This one stays in play and across the boards. And this will go D to Bouchard. Fans on the slapper. This will still work with the Oilers, though. Goes near the right side boards. Bouchard set it back up for Ekholm. Off the blocker of Bob. Verhaeghe now. Desperate to try to get it out as this one gets shoveled in deep. Forsling looks like he might be on the edge of his ship. They're starting to get a little bit gassed here. Bouchard, D to D now for Ekholm. He gets near the left side boards as Edmonton starting to look like the Panthers here. Off the backhand. You consider that one through. Now it goes to Bouchard. Bouchard, Ekholm wants the Bob. This is gloved by Bob. They need a stoppage, and they got one.
As that was going up high, the area where the Oilers want to test him. High, glove side, blocker side. His emphasis on where the shot selection should be at, because Bobrovsky's at his weakest when he's fired glove side or blocker side on.
1-1, 9:09 commercial break. Let me give you the reset here. Carter Verhaeghe is 11th from Rodrigues and Lindell. He's really needed that right now. Has struggled in the Stanley Cup final. That gave Florida a lead, but only for a couple of minutes. Matthias Janmark, jailbreak right down the middle from a Cody CC bomb pass. Makes it 1-1. Bobrovsky, 4 out of Skinner, 5 out of 6. We'll set this up on the box cell. Let me pull up the team stats here for you, then we'll get into the other update. Hits, 17-4 for the Cats. Face-offs, 4-3. Florida's had one power play. They've been turned away. It's unfortunate, but the AHL Game 6 and NHL Game 7 are being played on the same day. Coachella Valley Firebirds look like the lead right now, or it's actually just tied with a minute left to go in the second. It's Perrick Dubé, Hendrix LaPierre, Dubé with and Ryan Winterton also has 2. Marion Student each has 1. It's 3-3 with a minute left to go in the second. And if Hershey Bears win, they'll claim another Calder. If Coachella wins, they'll force Game 7 on Wednesday at the Giants Center.
Who knows how that's going to go, considering that it's on the same day. But I don't cover AHL that much. The Stanley Cup, between this and the Calder Cup, we're getting ourselves 2 great series.
Yes, we are, Alec. Again, that one has gone back and forth. This one has 2 in between 3 games and 3 games apiece, but the games in between the Calder Cup have been a little bit closer. For Hershey, they have been able to score in the last minute of the period, last seconds of the period, do a lot of damage there, and that's why Coachella's had a tough time. 1,051 career regular season games, never won a Stanley Cup, Alec Poso. And he's looking to do something different. Corey Perry's trying to be on the right side of the action. 217, 2 hits for Alec Poso, ice time. So Edmonton wins. This is just a shovel toward the left side dot. Florida able to easily get this out. Ryan Lundberg. Fan on it for a moment. Here is Stenlund. Slows it down. Here's a big save for Skinner with the left side pad. Oliver Ekman-Larsson off the pinch as Florida is really stuck in behind the net of Skinner right now. Here is a good steal by Okposo off the left side red line. You got the Corey Perry line out there right now as this is picked up off the backhand. Ekman-Larsson one more time near the left side red line is McLeod in his zone end, trying to take this one left to right. In Edmonton in the road whites with the blue top and the mix of the orange striping. Florida in the home reds with the blue pants and the white striping on the alongside Alec Nava. I'm John Ott. We're going to see who's going to win this one tonight in the winner-take-all contest as Edmonton goes off sides.
Leon Draisaitl jumped it way too early. That's why the offside was going. He was thinking that Warren Fogle was going to come with him on that puck possession, but no. Fogle trying to do for the Dixie Doodle. That was a good forced offside by Florida.
So, Alec, here's the one that you talk about in games 4 through 6. Florida has been outscored 19-6. It's a complete role reversal from games 1 and 3. We brought that up a lot, but you have to because Edmonton was pretty much dead to rights. They put themselves in a situation. Even if Edmonton doesn't win this one, whether they do, this is going to be a story we'll talk about forever because of the way that they fought back into this series. And for Florida, yes, they are a good team, and they've been in the Cup Finals 2 years in a row, but this could be an epic collapse. And again, we'll be talking about this one for years as this is sent back in no matter who wins it. This is picked up off the backhand for Tkachuk. Tkachuk now toward the right side. Kind of station out the rest of his troops here and get rolling. as Paul Maurice's squad will take a timeout in behind the cage with Nico Mikkola. So the forwards take a change. Forwards take a change for the Edmonton Oilers and Kris Knoblauch's squad as well, as Dylan Holloway is shadowing. Here's a pickup down near the left side. Barkov tries to get a stick on it. He harasses the defense a little bit for Evan Bouchard. That's what they need to do. You just got to be mindful of the breakout passes we've discussed. Barkov off the left side. Ekblad trying to find it as Hyman able to push this one ahead. It's a 2-on-3. Edmonton's got the reinforcements, and it's 97. Off the drop pass. Gets around a reverse hit. Bouchard. Clapper. This one goes wide. And as McDavid. Now Bouchard, number 97. Have it in the high slot wrister. This one blocked. A stick got taken out of the hand. And now here's a stick chop. Reinhardt trying to bother Bouchard. As it's now on the left side red line. Verhaeghe falls down on his heavily padded wall. It is Bouchard and RNH try to get this one loose. 6:20 left to go in the first round. Under with the alongside Alec Nava. Game 7 at Amara Bank Arena. Series until it wasn't. That's why we get a winner take all tonight on a Monday night. Again, you got the draft pretty much next week, and we'll talk about more trades as well. Lindell, is this the center on the end? Picked up now for Tarasenko. Back to Anton. Ekman Larson will pinch. This will be sent back around one more time. And then off. This does gain the zone here for the Oilers as they get fire it in. We'll get a stoppage. 5:50 left.
They just went out of play from center ice, but that was so close from the outside of the left post for Evan Bouchard. 90 miles. Those clappers, and of course, when he fires those clappers, teams get nervous knowing that his blazing slapper can reach speeds of up to 90 plus, even all the way up to 100. Put him in the hardest shot competition already, John.
Yeah, he's got the accuracy and the placement. That one just kissed the left bar as we're sitting at a 1-1 commercial break. It seems like a pretty even game so far. I guess you could take that for what you will between both teams. Did not have to get away from them just yet, but still, when you get set to take over here in the second period, I'll be interested to watch whether or not Edmonton continues to be able to put their foot on the gas and dominate the Panthers they've done in the latter half of this series.
That is the key here for Edmonton. They've been the better of the so far in games 4 through 6, even dating back to game 3 in the third period. And they want to continue on with this pressure. The Panthers, they were the dominant one early on the first half of the first period. Like it's the third period. As ironic as it is to sound, in a tight contest, I feel it is easier said than done that the advantage goes to the Panthers. The Oilers, they know how to play from in front, from behind, but still, this is why you play the games.
Yeah, and again, if you're Florida, you have to creep in that doubt and try to make them play from behind. But the only problem is Matthias Janmark did not get that memo. About a minute and a half later, he ends up finishing it off, making it a 1-1 game. Again, I gave you the scoring update in the last break. It's official now. After 2, Coachella are tied at 3. So we will give you that update. That game likely ends before our Stanley Cup final. If there is a Game 7, I'll have coverage for you on Wednesday side of it. Again, it's unfortunate to play on the same night, but that's just the way it is right now. So we'll keep you updated there as it goes across. And we do have some trade talk to get to once we get intermission. But still, 5:50 left to go in the first. We get a center ice draw. And Tom Lindell against Draisaitl. Lindell will win it clean. And Florida will start with puck possession coming out of the second commercial break. Tarasenko now. Try to go ahead and find it as Kulkov. Ekman Larson is the last one back. Good back check here for the forwards and Lindell. He was off his pinch. Now he goes ahead and pick it up as Luostarinen. This goes too far off his skate. And now Edmonton here for Brown. Slow for reinforcements. Makes a smart play. Draisaitl funneling toward the net. And the Florida defense was right there for Bob clean it up. As it's now full of the Edmonton Oilers. As this one continues, falling down as a couple of Panthers. This is going to allow Draisaitl to pick the puck back up. With 5:05 left to go in the first season. Back down deep. This bounces in front of the crease of Bob, but he's alert. He'll hold on.
Dangerous there. Looking to fight Joseph bounced off Sam Bennett's skate for Connor Brown as he looked to get one up front. Now, Leon Draisaitl, as you point out, he doesn't have a goal here in the Stanley Cup final. He has 3 assists though, but has yet to. Maybe now is the current time to strike for Draisaitl.
Maybe it is, Alec. And again, from what we talked about with McDavid and Draisaitl, even though there's been some times where they has avalanche of points, and he has games where he's got 0. He's had plenty of those in the playoffs. But the one with Kris Knoblauch, we talk about this a lot. Their defensive intensity is so much better across the board. That is why Edmonton is where they are right now.
It is the defensive intensity of the Oilers, especially on the penalty kill. That's what got them to this position. Now we talk about McDavid and Barkov, and this may be under the radar because of how McDavid scores through this series, but Barkov is going to be very noticeable when the two are matched up.
Absolutely. Again, you got to be able to close out something. And Barkov, again, he can't play the complete two-way game with McDavid because the defense is important. Here's a pinball, and Mikko is going to be able to find it. This will take a break for Tkachuk now. Off the got it. See if they can do something here. Here's a wrister. This one goes just wide. That was Mikola's clear that ended up turning into a chance. He's got this in behind the net now. He was in a very severe pinch as this one goes back. He's trying to get a press. And on the right side red line, Tkachuk. Now with Bennett. Take a D to D. Here's a bomb. This one gets blocked. That extensively through the last several games. We get a penalty, however. 4-16, maybe a hand pass, excuse me. That's what they're going to call. 4-16 in the first.
Yeah, they're calling it a hand pass as Sam Bennett touched up. We both thought it was going to be a penalty. Evan Rodrigues is contesting where the hand pass was. Scored it? We don't know, but who's going to call it? I don't know at this current point, but at this point, 1-1 on the current scoreline, it looked like a pinball machine on the Oilers last shot. That looked like the old Red Wings Empire style play. Intentionally missed and hope to get a rebound at the front of the net and bank it in.
I spent a lot of time as a young lad at the old JLA, and that is exactly what they used to do at Joe Louis Arena. Man, those boards were lovely. You get that intentionally, you get a chance out in front. You might say it's cheap, but you also say, just like in baseball, you play to your dimensions. Sometimes you get that home ice advantage, and that's how it worked off the boards.
And what Tomas Holmstrom used to do best, he was at the front of the nets.
Tomas Holmstrom and Nicholas Lidstrom, that was a pair match made in heaven for each other. Boy, did they play well. Who is going to get their names immortalized on the cup tonight? That's what Alec and I are trying to follow. And thank you, TKB, for joining us in here on this side. We imagine it'll get a little more lively as people continue to drive in, as this game will get closer to completion. But as we sit in this first, because of the score line, this has been more along the lines of what I wanted to see in the game so far, because it just seems like in games 1 through 6, two teams continue to exchange uppercuts. I'm just waiting for a close game, and right now we have one.
The closest that we had to a close game was games 3 and 5. Outside that, it's been basically exchanging uppercuts after uppercuts. If the Panthers do pose one out, the closest we can compare this Stanley is the movie plot of Rocky, where even though Apollo Creed won, taking Rocky Balboa more seriously next time.
I would have to think so, and that's a good analogy. You're going to take both of these teams very seriously, and I will say this, and I'll give full marks to Edmonton win, lose, or draw here tonight, and I'll have it on recorder so you can play it back as much as you want for those that think I don't. But I got a hell of a lot more respect now for the Edmonton Oilers than I ever did going in, considering how much they changed around their coach. This is how winning teams play. This is picked up now off the stick chop. Be sent back down. Is it going to be enough for icing? Yes, it is. Philip Broberg easily gets there. It'll be a defensive zone draw for the Cats.
Just got by just by the skin of their teeth. It had enough speed to get down for the ice. So you look at the Oilers after going winless in 3 straight games, 8-0 from November to December, 16 straight from December to January, and then 5 straight between February and March. 3 straight as of right now. They're looking to make it their 4th straight here in the Stanley Cup Final. We're back underway.
And Alec and I were in the midst of that 16-game streak. We covered one of those there. It was defense and goaltending. Lomberg, long chance. This one will get hand grenaded into the right side to an open area. Florida now still working in behind the cage. As this will bank right the force like a big rocket. Skinner hit him square. The little pads at 97. That had to feel good. Just launched wide open as this is now fumbled. Barkov trying to make a play. RNH bumps him off the puck, and Florida sends it in. Shot board is even at 6. Verhaeghe now off the spin and turn. Again, his tip goal. His help was answered by Matthias Janmark. That's why we sit 1-1 with 2:55 left to go in this opening period of Game 7. Glad you could join us here. Hyman off the backhand. He might be able to try to get his own puck here. Florida took 3 players to dispossess it. As this will go right to left now for the Cats. Take his change as Skinner will slowly settle this down for his defense. Then we'll get going and chip off the glass. Picked up now for Tarasenko as Kulak clears. Now Florida trying to find an entry one more time. A lot of dump and chase right now. Not as much pace from what we saw at the beginning. Essentially, that's why I said I thought it was going to slow down a little. We're trying to see some settling in. Kulikov, wrister! And that was wide open near the left side dot, but that one went wide off the save of Skinner. Picked up now. Here's a fumbled puck. Ekman-Larsson in behind the right side red line as he'll try to find it with Tarasenko. Good pinch by Luostarinen. We'll get a stick in there. Lindell trying to help out. And now Edmonton have some numbers the other way as CC will flip it down. 5 left to go in the first. As this will be Kulikov on the embankment for Ekman-Larsson. Right to left for the Cats. Bennett too far off his stick. Philip Broberg. Nice play for him as he continues to get some time. He's going to be a big mainstay here around this top 4 for this Edmonton defense. You can mark my words. He's a good. Now off the backhand, we'll chuck this one in deep here for Bennett. Put it around the end boards here. McLeod gets dispossessed. Here's a play out in front of Kachuk, trying to go between his legs again. His Patton, but that one gets saved.
That would have been a gorgeous goal, and he put that in the back of the net. If we're already talking about Evan Bouchard, as we mentioned, at the last stoppage about 90+ miles an hour, we could possibly say the same for Gustav Forsey with that long shot that went 97 miles an hour, his slapper. But that third line again, pinching, arguably the most dangerous line on the ice whenever they're on. Kachuk didn't go between the legs, but Kosa just airmailed that one above the crossbar. Stuart Skinner wasn't even tested, as Kentucky was trying to go high side.
Yes, he was, and thank you for helping me there, Al. Trying to get a little fancy. If he would have lifted that thing, that would have been spectacular nonetheless. Here's a tip play. This is bounced in between the netting here. Now an opportunity, Reinhardt, as we get the overhead. This one pinballs. Barkov gets it. He's pinched against the wall. It's going to take a lot to dispossess him of the puck. It's Forsling now. Here's Verhaeghe. I'll try to locate it. Verhaeghe pass, centered on in front. This one stopped by Skinner, but it was fanned on partially. Verhaeghe now across the left side of the blue line. The overhead doesn't bother me as long as I can see it. Here's a cross check. Reinhardt tries to get back up to his feet. No call there. Verhaeghe wrap around. Florida dangerous, but now you got to be mindful of that. Here's Hyman off the chip. This will be an opportunity for Ekblad. This will be sent in. Now an opportunity for Gustav Forsey. We'll go ahead and take us to the left side red line. Good hit there for Edmonton as they get a piece of Reinhardt again. Take a chunk out of his stamina a couple times. Here is an entry for Mikhailov. Full entry of speed as this goes around the end boards here. Down at 10. Now down to 5. Fired it at the net. Luostarinen down to 3. This will go behind the cage. They're going to run out of time, but an entertaining first. It's one.
Once again, that third line, as we mentioned, again against Skinner has been holding his own. We mentioned about the third line. If you'll pump Mauricio minutes knowing how good that they have been in this Game 7. They've been arguably the best line out there at 5-on-5 for Florida. And they got Tarasenko, Lundell. Those are the players to watch here all the way. 52% of the time, Game 7s have been decided by one goal. And the team that scored first won over 2/3 of the Game 7s all time in the NHL.
So you're telling the Cats that they have a with you on that side, and for Edmonton, that's a heck of a good bounce back for them. Matthias Janmark, I've said it time and time again, he's a guy that you got to watch out for. He has really showcased himself in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's really hard for me to believe that he's still not a Dallas Star, considering the way that he's played for Edmonton in this series.
Hard to believe, yeah, he's not in Dallas. We're used to him doing the dirty work for Dallas, and even Vegas for that brief stint before he landed new home in Edmonton. Keep in mind that he wasn't even on the Oilers' original roster because of the cap constraints last season of a $1 million cap hit. He began the season at Bakersfield before he got the call up from the big team. Now he's here.
Yeah, like considering the journey that some of these guys take. I mean, again, we talk about Connor Brown as well, recovering from a torn ACL, probably getting his feet underneath him and skating and looking as good as he's ever been because he's healthy. You know, most guys this time of year are beat up, understandably. Connor Brown really kind of getting his legs and everything else good. So again, we talked about it the other day when Cooper Hopkins was here for Andrew Cogliano and his retirement. Well, Derek Brassard, who had spent some time with the Edmonton Oilers and all that, and a bunch of NHL teams, has also decided to call it quits. But in between Cogliano and Brassard, probably two of the most professional guys, maybe not the household names that we've talked about, Alec, across superstars, but they've had heck of NHL careers.
Wherever they've gone, reliable for them, no matter where they are placed at. Brassard, who's been notable in his time with the Rangers and even that 1 year with the Senators, where he has stood out as a third-line center, and with Guy Boucher doing a center by committee that year with the Rangers, noted playoff performer. In those he spent with Henrik Lundqvist and Ryan McDonough in all those years. Hats off to Brassard. Good luck in your retirement wherever you're at, and I'm wishing you the best.
Absolutely. That's well said. Let me give you one more reset, and then we will jump into the trade of the day because I really got thoughts. I was shocked. Carter Verhaeghe is 11th from Rodrigues and Lundell. Rodrigues throws it on net. Verhaeghe gets the deflection at 4:27. It was a 1-0 lead for the Cats. That only lasted less than 2 minutes. Matthias Janmark on a jailbreak from Cody Ceci. Cody Ceci gets his third dime. Matthias Janmark his fourth goal. Big Bob, 5 out of 6. Stuart Skinner, 6 out of 7. So both goaltenders kind of pitching even as far as their stats. 19-7 on the hits for Florida, 8-6 on the draws. Florida's had one power play. They've been turned away, but of no side. And Edmonton still got their destiny in their hands. The one positive thing you can say for the Cats, I don't know if this is going to get extended, is this. They did not give Edmonton any opportunities. That has to continue if they want to stay on the right foot in this one.
For sure, keep your head low and keep your cool. That's what Paul Maurice wants, and looking to improve to 5-0 in his career in Game 7s. We can talk about Peter DeBoer and his record in career Game 7s. Paul Maurice may take the cake on that if you're talking about a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final, and he wins that.
Block shots 9-5 Edmonton. They've been doing a darn good job all series long. Takeaways 5-2 for the Cats. Giveaways 6-3. So those are about even now. They haven't gotten completely skewed like they were in the last few when the Oilers have been absolutely dominant. Here's the domino that we have to talk about. The NHL draft is going to pretty much get set for Friday here. And it's Monday night, June 24, 2024, and we're still playing hockey. I don't know what to say about that, but a bomb of a trade. Linus Ullmark goes to the Ottawa Senators. What does the Boston 5th pick in the draft in just a few days? Center Mark Kastelik and goaltender Jonas Korpisalo. The Senators will retain 25% of the netminder's salary.
Wow. And 30 minutes before the big game as well, that we were preparing for this game, we're counting down the hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours. And then this happens 30 minutes before puck drop. Linus Ullmark landing in Ottawa. The Senators, they have themselves the real deal as long as he holds up. That deal, if he can find himself with some stable defense right in front of him, and they do have some pieces in Thomas Chabot, Artem Zub, Jake Sanderson, and Jacob Chikrin, who are the main four around here. Chikrin, because he's been thrust into trade rumors up and about, but this is good for Ottawa if you want to find some stable net mining for the first time since Craig Anderson has been around. Ullmark is a former Vezina Trophy winner. So I feel that year, the defense helped them out in Boston, and you can say the same thing with Jeremy Swayman. The Bruins defense is elite at their job. The Senators, not so much. So Ullmark, they're hoping that Ullmark is Boston form, hoping that he plays out of his mind. But you can't have a goaltender play out of your mind every night.
Yeah.
If I'm Ottawa, I'm trying to bank in on this opportunity to see if he can become a stable goaltender with the organization. Jonas Corposalo flopped after signing a 5-year deal. He flopped in year 1. The expectation for Corposalo in Boston is because Jeremy Swayman is your clear-cut number 1 if you're going at this route. Swayman got the majority of the starts, with Jim Montgomery initially going 1A, 1B. Swayman's getting the full-time nod in nets.
And essentially, from what you just said, Alec, you had 2 goaltenders, and you and I talked about the entire league in between Ullmark and Swayman. But it's also, if you're the front office and you're Cam Neely, you really can't afford to pay both goaltenders top dollar. So Boston's got to get something in return. Their return is going to seem a little bit low because Ullmark only has 1 year left. And what happens with the Ottawa Senators, he could get a big-time extension. But you're absolutely right alongside Ottawa. Look, I'll tell you completely, I got it point-blank wrong. Again, sometimes in the free agency frenzy, I like to go alongside yourself and Cooper Hopkins and try to pick a dark horse playoff team that didn't make it from last year that could make the mark. I flat out said this. Ottawa's got to get off to a strong start if they're going to make it, but I'll take them if they can get off to a strong start. They did not. And you said it, Ullmark. He's going to have to stand on his head a little bit more than he ever did in the Boston side when he ended up winning a Vezina, all that looking good. That is an upgrade and a definite marker. Ottawa has shown improvement, but at the same time, Ullmark's also had a little bit of an injury history, and if he gets overused and he has to carry every single, I'm not saying it's not a good move, but I don't think Ullmark's going to be able to solve all of their woes to make them a playoff team.
No, he's going to overshadow some of the holes that the Senators need to fill. And for the Senators, I'm taking it like this on a wait and because
Sure.
I'm not ready to put them into the playoff conversation yet. They need to patch up some of the holes that they have. The moves that they made last offseason kind of made sense with Vladimir Tarasenko, Dominic Kubalik, but nothing worked for them. You have all the right pieces with you. Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, Claude Giroux. I mentioned the defensive core for them. Is the depth enough? That's my main question around him. Is Josh Norris going to live up to his contract and that he puts his injury history behind him?
Sure.
Is everything going to stick out with your new coach and your new GM, Steve Stairs?
Questions, and especially for Josh Norris, again, locally the Oxford, Michigan native. I just want to see him healthy. Again, he was brought up to that big contract, expected to, I wouldn't say be a superstar, but I mean, Alec, he's really got to be like a second line center, and he's got to do damage.
He has to. A second line centers will put him at that point for ceiling because Stützle has emerged into the superstar center that he is, fitting right next to Tkachuk. Claude Giroux, he can play over the top. How much longer until we can put Giroux in the trade conversations at the deadline next year?
Yeah, that would be something to keep an eye out as well, because again, you'd be able to put Giroux in there from a couple seasons ago to kind of push this. And I'm not going to say the rebuild into a playoff side of it because they had a lot of young pieces with the Ottawa Senators. A lot of their young guys didn't get a chance to improve, and then putting Jacob Chychrun on the side for the trade block only makes sense because Chychrun isn't exactly healthy all the time. He's a great player when he's on the ice, but you also can't pay a big dollar amount to a guy that's not going to be there on the times. So we'll see how that continues. So I wanted to throw that trade out there. We kind of gave you the AHL update as well. I saw on the NBA side, we have some more moves that made sense. This time some coaching hires and keeps in the sense of Chris extension. And Kenny Atkinson now is the new coach of the Cavs.
I thought that JB Bickerstaff did good in Cleveland. Unfortunately, there's a whole gimmick about the players not performing up to the coach's expectations, yet the coach gets thrown under the bus. I feel Atkins hired for Cleveland on the way because you find a dive in the rough, going from one coach to another. If this is the move that Cleveland needs to get back to the next level, this may be it. I think I'm not labeling slam dunk hire at the moment, but I like it for the Cats.
I like what he did with the Brooklyn Nets. Be a stable piece. They're going to be able to continue to be a playoff team. You just want to see that improvement. He's still got that young core alongside Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland needs to step up a little bit more, and we're expecting that to happen under Kenny Atkinson. And now that JB Bickerstaff is on the way out, I know JJ Redick is a member. Now the Pistons don't have any hope, but I do want to throw this out there. As Trajan Langdon is now the new owner, as Tom Gorst essentially eats a $80 million mistake from Monty Williams. If JB Bickerstaff's available, he should be the head coach of the Pistons. I think that's pretty much the most qualified guy you can get.
If I'm the Pistons, I'm going after Bickerstaff. Because Monty Williams, he thought he was a good coach in Phoenix. It feels like Monty, he's the type of coach who would coach a contending team.
Right.
He doesn't really make sense for a rebuilding team. Wrong guy and the wrong fit.
So I want to throw this up as far as, what are your thoughts on JJ Redick?
Okay. I know for a fact it caused a long-standing PR nightmare left and right, but the Lakers, they're banking on the opportunity that he's the modern-day Pat Riley. That's how I see it. I think things with JJ Redick, a young coach who can guide the players and take them over to the next level. The thing is, you're coming onto a situation with an aging LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who, while he didn't suffer any major injuries, there were some questions about his. The Lakers, they're all thrown to the wayside. You're still over at what the Lakers, I don't know where they're going to be at. I think play-in, maybe bottom 4 seed, maybe their ceiling. It's going to take a couple of years. I think if their Lakers play to keep Redick, they're going to have to preach patience with them. The rest of the fan base needs to do the same as well, because the Lakers have one of the most spoiled fan bases in the NBA, and there comes a period where they become impatient when the team is not doing so well. But I have to say this again, that most of these times when the players aren't performing the expectations, these coaches are thrown under the bus for whatever reason, and I don't like that. The thing is, I think this could sneakily become a good hire. I think it became a big PR nightmare because of the podcast talks.
Sure. And again, I don't want to get too political as far as everything else in the LA side of it, because let me say this first about JJ Redick. He's a very smart man. He knows the game of basketball. He's been all around it, all sorts of tumultuousm through certain teams that he's been with. A lot of the Clippers, we know all about all of that. A heck of a shooter. He's done very well at Duke. He's done very well at those. Very well respected. That podcast and everything else alongside LeBron, as you mentioned, very well respected, knows the game inside and out. I understand you can use JJ Redick as an extension of LeBron James. You're not wrong there. I get that point of it. I think as long as JJ Redick stays in the mix and keeps his team on the treadmill, what do I mean by that? Sniffing around the play-in, getting in a couple playoff spots here and there, and seeing improvement and buy-in from the players, I think that lets him keep his job and maintain his experience. That's where I am with JJ Redick. You give him room to grow, as you said, he'll do well. I think as long as he keeps the wheels on the car, he'll be able to keep his job. With that being said, I just want to throw this out there, and I'm not trying to throw stones, but if I'm Jeannie Buss, I know it's a lot different from Dr. Jerry Buss and all that in the history, and the Jerry West and all that stuff then, and with the Clippers and the Lakers and this and that. Jeannie Buss, she's got all the power in the world, but I also wouldn't feel very comfortable with her dating Rob Pelinka either. That's a PR nightmare.
Oh, God. You started with that. That is definitely a PR nightmare.
You can't have all that other stuff while JJ Redick is the head coach. At least give him some room to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, You need to put him in a situation where he's at his best and he's at the right place mentally.
You have to do that. I think that's the most important thing left to do there for JJ. Give him the runway and keep the news and the media out of the spotlight as much as you can. As Alec and I said, it is LA. You're always going to have that media hotbed and have that fan base, but at least give him the chances. So it's set to close. I know you'll be taking over in the second period. I'm very much looking forward to your call. Although I will be saying, Alec, I hope that you send a couple good luck charms here for the Cats. But as long as we keep a close game, I'll be pretty happy with that regardless. And also, I've got to say thank you for sticking with me the whole way. I know I've been able to try to keep this as objective as possible, but I'm fun with you working this whole entire thing. And I'm glad it went 7 because honestly, I thought at one point it was going to be 4.
Since 1998, first week of witnessing a Stanley Cup final of my lifetime because I never even see that, and that would be bad for hockey. Let's be fair, but the fact that I went from 3-3 onto a Game 7 is the best Stanley Cup final that we can witness for. Cinema in the making. It's stuff that can be written. I'm glad to have you with them. Glad to be with you, John.
I appreciate that. The only thing Alec and I will say that we want to see different. Hope that the NHL can start to move their schedule up a little bit so we don't get games in the late June. Because if I'm a GM, as you talk about, trying to make moves, I got to make these moves while the Stanley Cup Finals going on. We need to get this season to end pretty much at the start of June, not into July.
Yes, sir. You can bump up the start date earlier in October.
Yes.
That will.
So you get set to take it away. I think we know what we want to see from both of these teams. We like the pressure from the start of the Cats working it behind the cage. That counterattack for Edmonton's been good. The key is to keep Edmonton off the power play side. But if you're Edmonton, continue to lock down on defense. And I think if you can find a way to lock down on defense and create some misses from the point, you can be off to the races again. It's good for both teams right now. They've looked good. Honestly, Alec, after that first period, I feel like this is anybody's contest.
This may be anybody's contest. Take a coin flip, and basically, it's going to be anyone's game here. If it is the Oilers or the Panthers, do remember that third period. That's the Oilers' most important period, knowing that the Panthers are at their best in the third period. But we're in the second period. Draisaitl wins this face-off. We're underway here. Frame number 2, Stuart Skinner backing up. I'm Alec Nava alongside John Ott. Shot attempts are 27-15, Florida in that first shot. Brandon Brodeur set up right in front. Loose over the slot, picked up by the Panthers as there was no Oiler in the way. McDavid has no shots in his last 4 periods as this one set down. Bennett in front. Could not be handled by Rodrigues. Now it's Brodeur. Deflected inside. And Stuart Skinner caught it in his breadbasket. Ever so dangerous. Matthew Tkachuk in the presence.
Yeah, and not a bad idea there off the quick back pass there from Bennett and Tkachuk. They made the right play, trying to make a quick read, and then go right back as Stuart Skinner able to trap that one underneath his stomach.
And I was saying Bennett was approaching if there was a rebound left behind, but Skinner took it on his breadbasket. We see Tkachuk over the bench now. He took the opening shift alongside Draisaitl's line. Then we see McDavid against Barkov. No, it's Anton Lundell out there on the ice. Oilers win the face-off, but it'll be held in by Tarasenko. Tarasenko to Luostarinen. Set on his throw to Lundell. Skinner tried to track it, went past him. Now here are the Oilers. 1-on-2. Take it onto the backhand. By Connor Brown, a race for the puck. He helped as Luostarinen says run over to the far side. Dmitry Kulikov in his seconds with the Panthers. The Panthers are inside. Across for Tarasenko. Tarasenko fires, and Skinner's fell down. It's over the near corner. Odiantos Lundell, who is down. Darnell Nurse wants to take it away. Several whacks at it several times. Still not free. A shove and a push. And a little bump and run. Not there. Now we have movement. Philip Brodeur pickpockets that lane and takes it away. 1:15 into the second period. Brodeur will send this one through onto the zone. This one sent out. Darnell Nurse will go for a change and get fresh bodies on the ice. Ekman Larson back behind Bobrovsky started off. And guess who's out there? None other than Connor McDavid with 42 points in the playoffs. Looking to extend that. For the far side, the puck inside. It is Skinner to headwards from behind. Sent it over to the near side. Bouncing puck, web puck pass right. Nugent-Hopkins in a foot race. will not be icing. Aaron Ekblad's the first one back in the near. Bouncing puck held inside by Ekholm, but the Panthers recollect. Ekholm sandwiched out, still loose in the Panthers zone. Walking around now over to the far side, Evan Bouchard fires, and that will wide the nets. That could be a scary situation if the Panthers were to give a goal. Backhand shot. Bobrovsky turned away as he kicked it out. RNH jumped away by Verhaeghe, but a good hold. Here's Ekholm, deep left point. And draws over to Bouchard, top of the point. Bouchard, one drive. This goes back over to the point off that block. Little stick tap by Verhaeghe. He'll collect and clear. Oilers have it again. McDavid sends it through, but the Panthers read the passing lane, and this one goes out off Barkov's stick.
That was McDavid's first shot correct in 4 periods. That was a pretty dangerous backhand play after Bouchard was able to keep it alive for a little bit.
It was a very dangerous opportunity if Evan Bouchard's shot blocked in front. Of course, his shots are always scary. Space double B just outside the Oilers zone. Tangle up as the fans are starting to get back onto their seats. Skinner behind the net. It'll be the Oilers playing this one up. Bouncing puck up front at the right point. Ryan McLeod and Derek Ryan are all tied up. Brett Kulak in the midst of it. So is Aaron Ekblad, Kevin Stanley. Cleared up. Now it's a foot race. Montour is the first one back. Away from Corey Perry. Cycled around for Nico Mikkola. The ex-Blue. Now here's Poso. Not Ekblad. Kyron Poso opposite Brett Kulak. Drives into the trapezoid. Cut away several times in the near corner. McLeod has it. Moving over far side and to give it go to the near side one more time. Chopped away it. Now it's picked back up by McLeod. Who send it over to the trapezoid where Bobrovsky is slowing down. Pressuring is right McLeod away from Evan Rodrigues. Rodrigues will pick it up and send over far side. I believe it is Mikkola. Mikkola around. Knocked it out for this puck. Draisaitl there. Warren Fogle also there. And it's taken away. The Panthers left circle. That's a rebound poked away by the Oilers. As Kachukko's going. And he put one the Oilers in turn. Send a pass over to Bennett. And that results in a tripping penalty as Kachuk lost control himself. He's trying to argue with the officials. But this is what the Panthers do not want. A tripping penalty against them.
No, when you can't argue that, Kachuk just lost it a little bit. He bit it. Ended up inadvertently tripping. That's an easy call there. And the Oilers get the door open. It's their opportunity to take the lead here early in the second period.
They say, John, when it rains, it pours.
Yep.
As he said, Oliver at once, but as Kachuk, he slipped and inadvertently trips over with Fogle. That's a bad break.
Yeah, he hit the Mario Kart banana peel. He definitely did.
Oh, went there with that Mario Kart. Because you're taking a right down DS Duffino Square. We have Draisaitl on the face-off dot opposite Kevin Stanley. Taya, and we'll have to do it over again. Draisaitl is going to be tossed. McDavid is going to come in.
David wins it.
Oh, you're ahead. He did win it with some help. And it goes over to Bouchard. 2 minutes it is. At the top of the right circle, Draisaitl waits with this. At the right dot. Goes for a passing lane, finds someone down low. McDavid, tie up front. This goes back to Bouchard. One drive down, find it. Broken, stick it away. Bobrovsky keeps it out. 90 miles an hour on that last shot as Hyman pumps it over for something. Now across over to Draisaitl. Issue lane closed up by Luostarinen. Defers it down low over to McDavid. Bouchard walking a point. Now Draisaitl, top of the right circle. Going down low over McDavid. Stanley trying to block. McDavid. Bouchard pump fakes. Fakes out Stanley. Bouchard lights the corner. Luostarinen watching him. Going back for RNH. Bouchard. 3 Panthers have sticks. Good look for the Oilers here. McDavid. Will he get a look? He finds Draisaitl. Going back for Bouchard. Now here's McDavid again. Bouchard on the power play. Tic-tac-toe over to McDavid. Draisaitl, one finger. He missed it. And Stanley trying to clear with his arm. Can't do it. McDavid. Now over to Bouchard. Again for Draisaitl. Right circle he looks. Draisaitl going back. Bouchard again. Now McDavid. McDavid dancing his way around. Trapezoid. Set a pass up front. No goal. Draisaitl had a look, but Bobrovsky held on to the left post.
I know you're doing the active play-by-play, Alec, but I bet you're doing the same thing I was doing. We're just watching number 82 the whole time, right, Kevin Stenlund? He could not get off the ice. He tries to his hand, and it was just merciless attack there for the Oilers. and somehow Florida able to hold.
That was tremendous puck pressuring by the Oilers as Kevin Stanley, the defender without a stick, is he the defender without a stick, can't clear the puck, and so he has to stay out there on his end of the ice. Of course, the defender without a stick can't even clear it, so what do the Oilers do? Use the defender who is without the stick.
Yeah.
Now they have face out to the right, McDavid loses this time, Kulikov can't clear, but the ball comes immediately over to Sam Reinhart. Reinhart shoots it down over to the near side for the first time. The Panthers get a clear on the PK. Here's Bouchard starting. He's waiting for it, and now he does. Using the right side ice. McDavid to the right. McDavid stops in the right circle and drops back over to Draisaitl. Draisaitl fighting Bouchard. Still at the power play. 10 seconds. Bouchard for Nugent-Hopkins. Tackle to the front. And Hyman can't get it on goal. 5 seconds to go. Bouchard over to McDavid. One-timer. Bobrovsky just off that power play expired. And the Panthers been on their feet on the 92-mile-an-hour one-timer.
Geez, Alec, do you think Matthew Tkachuk could now breathe partially after that? That was all Oilers for about 2 minutes. And number 72, as early as that shot, nutmeg Kulikov legs.
Right between the legs, essentially nutmegging Dmitry Kulikov on the power play. Bouchard gets strike fear, went on the man bench. He's off the ice for the sequence. McDavid and Draisaitl, they have to be gassed after that, knowing that they're getting double shifted on every power ever since the conference finals. It's a tie-up. Fourth, the puck is located over the near half force by Brodeur, but as McLeod take it back up, and he'll send this down. We have a whistle right afterwards.
Yeah, the action has been very slanted here for Edmonton so far. The power play does accentuate that a little bit, but Bob certainly looks like he's going to have his full here. This really probably has to be a period, Alec, where he shuts the door completely.
It has to be, especially against a high hockey history. I don't know if it reminds you of any, but this kind of reminds you of the time when the Empire Red Wings faced off against the upstart Crosby and Malkin Penguins. The Panthers. We taking the role of the Empire Red Wings, though unlike the Empire Red Wings, they were up 3-0. Led by McDavid and Draisaitl, all tenacious on the forecheck. This Yanmar dropping back side, Oilers can't handle. And the Panthers just got ahead of Rodrigues on time.
Yes, he did. And Florida, this is the second time I see them just fall apart and eat it, this time in between the players' bench as well. So whether there's something wrong with the ice surface or whether or not there's a little bit extra nerves, you got to calm yourself and stay composed here, because continues to knock on the door here. Eventually, they're going to open it up and score. Here's a big draw.
It's going to be at the left side dot. Retake it. Bird lights out there for the Oilers. Opposite, Evan Rodrigues. Rodrigues wins it. Brodeur chases from behind. And a little poke. The Panthers send this second straight icing. Not what the Panthers want.
And guess who's already coming back onto the ice? Number 97. Not really a rest play.
Well, he's getting comfortable being double shifted, but that's the hard work and the dedication of all the players who want to be at the very best, and they want the game doing the extra minutes right after practice ends, after every shift ends. Draisaitl wins it. This goes over from Ekholm to Bouchard. Bobrovsky saw that stop shot go on to him, and will stop for the ice scrapage. 6:06 gone, second period.
Yeah, and I want to just make mention of something that you just talked about. Play. It's the first time, at least for me, I might have missed one during the first here, but Draisaitl and McDavid reunited on the same line in that last look.
Something that Oilers want to do more and more. Jay Woodcroft did it, and Kris Knoblauch's doing it as well. And you are comfortable playing with one another. At times, it felt like it's seeing Crosby and Malkin on the same line all over again.
Yeah, mentality that you can get from that. I'm just hoping, in the sense that the Oilers don't turn into the Pittsburgh Penguins like they did when you got robbed in Game 7 and couldn't make the save when you had Marc-Andre Fleury. That one's my dreams, but I guess I can live with that one a little bit more than the Oilers if they win this one tonight. But again, I still think about that from time to time.
Oh boy, it does bring back good memories for fans. And that day, And that also on the other day, 8 years ago, June 12th in 2016, that win over the San Jose Sharks. Championships in the span of a week. One in the Bay Area, both by the visitors. First one by Western PA, the second one by Northern Ohio.
Yeah, it's pretty good work to be able to recollect all that stuff. And again, no hard feelings from me and you, because I love working with you and all that stuff. And again, I always give a lot of love there for the Pittsburgh Penguins and all that, because I really respect the way that they've done everything alongside Sidney Crosby and Malkin and Fleury and everybody else. I will always have a thought in the back of my mind when it comes to them. This might turn into a friendly rivalry as well. Who knows, depending on who lifts it here. But I could see a little bit more of them and to take it all the way to 7.
We could see these two even more. And do expect that to start the next regular season, this matchup will be circled on the calendar.
Yes, no, it definitely will be. Again, these teams only meet twice. I think you and I will already have to have that circled on the calendar to make sure we can.
How about another one? A potential Brodeur versus Michkov first time round. Is my mate Michkov? He said to join the Flyers next season.
I want to talk to you more about that once we get to the break, but you take away the play-by-play.
Philip Broberg on the keep off the faceoff. Kulikov slowing down Corey Perry. It's behind the net, near corner. Ryan McLeod, Danny Bird, far side. And pretty much even. That was a second period goal scoring, but we don't have a goal yet in the second period between both the Oilers and the Panthers. Brett Kulak. When that was more Fogle, rather, I thought he got tripped. Now this one up, and Calvin Pickard, I thought this was going towards his direction. Would it stay in the Panthers zone? I think it will.
I think it's going to. You're going to get a pretty cool camera shot of behind Paul Maurice. I think this guy's overdressed. He looks like he's going to the club. He's got a shirt with fire all over it.
Yeah, he feels like he's going to one of those clubs over in Miami. If the Panthers do win this, I believe they're going to heat the Marlins and the Dolphins and such, but mostly the Marlins and the Heat, knowing that those two teams, they won a championship in a Game 7 on their home field or court.
That's a good call for you. The action's right on top of you.
A save by Bobrovsky off the faceoff with a quick shot from Warren Fogle. He scored once over in Game 6. He wants to get another one, and he's worn the Mamba shirt from Game 4 onwards. Job's not finished. Rodrigues, this bounced off an Oiler, recollect by Kachuk. It's still loose, fired inside by Rodrigues from the blue line onto Skinner. Now it's Draisaitl walking the left circle. We got Draisaitl, chips to the right side, around Bennett, now left side, 4-on-2. Dylan Holloway, curling drag. Nico block it off. Now goes over to the near side, forwards with Kulak on the key. Kulak, behind that, a shove, lands on the Draisaitl far corner. He doesn't have a goal in this series. Carter Verhaeghe. First goal since Game 1 for Verhaeghe, but it might be the money going. That may be what it means for him. It may be the first goal, but the Panthers are looking up and around. Reinhardt can't find Verhaeghe. Now he has it. Right circle. Sends one in the center, and he got that right on his trapper. 12:26 left.
With the exception of a couple players between both sides falling down amongst themselves in a broken stick shift for Kevin Stenlund, this has been pretty even. Looking at Canadian teams in the 94 having to deal with some heartbreak in this sense of it, but the Edmonton Oilers can change it all tonight with one more win.
If it happens one time, all right, that's a one-off. Twice, 3 times, 4 times, you start to wonder in Game 7s when it's going to happen for Canada. They've waited 31 years for this to happen alongside of Flames fans to get a false start on the face-off.
And it's also since 2006, right? They lost to the Carolina Hurricanes, correct?
Yeah, that was their second Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final. They won their only other one, 1987, at their home ice against the Philadelphia Flyers. So that year, Ron Hextall won the Conn Smythe. Bouncing around over to the far side. Out inside by Edmonton. They're over the right circle. Looks for a set of play. Walking to point Philip Broberg. Now advancing over to the right circle. Broberg, stick with, staying with this puck. Back for Henrique. Adam Henrique, deep shot. Back. Sandwich out to the boards. Connor Brown can't handle it. Bouncing around. Right back for Henrique, who just keeps. It's too far for Brown. Kulikov is the first one there. He's dispossessed. Helping him is Lundell. Trying to get right by. Can't. And this goes over near corner. McDavid coaches backwards. Ekholm around the net. This will be settled down right by McDavid near corner. McDavid's all tied up. Walking the point with his Ekholm, deferring over to Bouchard. Bouchard to far boards. Kulikov was in the way. Nugent-Hopkins in the way there as well. So was Hyman. Tied behind the net. Over a minute of zone time, and now the Panthers have it. Now the takeaway. Oilers keep walking the point. Left side, Ekholm just keep it in. Matthias Ekholm give him go for Hyman. He spins out his man. Hyman still on the keep, around through the boards. Hyman walking this one out. Back to the point. Bouchard watching this. Give it go over right side. McDavid walking in circle. He falls down, gets back up. McDavid. Zach Hyman is all tied up. Hyman shoved down once, twice. And now push towards the little left point. It is Ekholm. He's wide open. Deep drive. And Bobrovsky on the catch to take that one away.
Honestly, Alec, I know it might look like a small save, but there was some traffic out in front. The Edmonton Oilers had that for about a minute and 20 seconds. I'm not sure how Bobrovsky saw that in between the screen. And again, I mentioned players falling down. I normally see Connor McDavid. There's got to be some type of wet spots and everything else. I know it's hot in Florida right now. The players are falling all over themselves period so far.
And with Zach Hyman trying to get that out of midair right in front of Bobrovsky, you would believe that Paul Maurice might challenge that for a high stick had that went in.
Absolutely. It was pretty close to that crossbar, and you got a good eye.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. We got Draisaitl. This is Sam Reinhart, not a natural center, but he can take faceoffs tonight. This time it's a tie-up. It is won by Reinhart going over to Aaron Ekblad. Pick number 1 of the 2014 draft. Chop around is to go back over to Brett Kulak. Tied up by Barkov. The Perry line is out there. Aaron Ekblad walking the right point. Sets one down low. Skinner kicked it. Picked back up by Barkov. Reinhart needs Ceci to tie him up. Ceci does not have a goal here in this game 7, but he had the goal against Vancouver to start off the scoring in that game 7. Corey Perry left point. He walked this. Perry on the hole. Opposite side is Ekholm. Double shifted here. Ekholm. McLeod can't handle it. Now this Cobb. Over to the left side for Verhaeghe. Back across. Cross ice is Ekblad walking his own. 2-on-2. Ekblad serving the lanes. Sends it over around the boards and around the horn back from Reinhart. Bouchard intercepts. Away from Verhaeghe. Up front is Ekholm. Ekholm at the end of his shift. Can't get off the ice now. At the Panthers, they're re-entry. Rebound behind it, and it was loose. Couldn't be free as Mikko keeps it down low. A shot on Kachuk, he breaks free. Kachuk tied up by McDavid. Bennett helping him. Bennett lost it to Vogel. Vogel's all tied up. McDavid locates it over to the approaching Bouchard. No rush here for the Oilers. Bouchard around through the far side boards. There's been no odd man rush here. 2-on-1, 3-on-2. Thus far of note that converted into a goal, but it was Matthias Janmark breakaway that got the Oilers on the board to tie this one up. It's a 1-1 game here, and the Panthers fans won a penalty against the Oilers. You're not getting one. A deep pass is going to be bluffed down by who I believe is Kevin Stanley, and now it goes down. Ryan Lomberg can pursue Darno nursing his away, but it bounced onto Okposo. Now it's Lomberg, tied up by Henrique. Lomberg retreating. Zach Hyman on the ice. Down low on Poso. Ex-Islander, ex-Sabre. Looking for Stanley Cup. On Poso. Plays what's under the net. And that was turned away by Skinner. That was from a tight angle. Kevin Stanley has it. Walks in. Tight shot. Henrique all tied up. Trying to shake off his man. Locates Brodeur. For the near side. With 8 ready to go. Brodeur from behind the red line. Last touch by the icing. The Oilers can't make their change. 14 total shots here for Florida. Deep pass over to Sam Reinhart and leading the way over to the far side. Away from Reinhart. Chopped around. Barkov there. He finds the open man Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe fires. And a blocker save by Stu. This goes back over to Cody Ceci who picks out. Looks to clear it down. Foot race for the puck. The officials are watching onwards. Icing way down. Photo finish. Janmark wants ahead. John Hines. Connor Brown out there. Derek Bryan out there. Defers it over to the point for Kulak. Over to Ceci. Deep right point. Ceci unloads one. Wide of the goal. Brown back over to Kulak. Kulak slaps it around over to Brown. Walking the point. Connor Brown from the point. Looks around. He'll defer backwards to the outside. Draisaitl. Too far for Dylan Holloway tied up near corner around for Draisaitl. To the opposite corner. Sends it backwards. Bouchard takes a drive. Now it's back for Draisaitl. Let's one go. It loops over to far corner. Corey Perry corner. Panthers trying to clear, they cannot. And down goes one, the Oilers. We stay 5-on-5. No tripping call on the way. Reinhart with this puck, trying to clear. And the Panthers help him out. This will be recalled by Bouchard, who sends it over to the far side. Inside, this goes over to Hyman. Brunel loose stick. Hyman shoved once by Forsweet. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goes after this loose puck. McDavid also there. Right on Barkov. R&H on the tie-up. 6:37 to go. Bouncing puck. Back in the Oilers zone. Echo the first one back. Away from the approaching Luostarinen. Echo shoved once by Luostarinen. Continuing to tie him up. Luostarinen on the takeaway. Tarasenko on the help. Near corner. First there is Montour. Back behind the net. Can be picked up by Florida. Tarasenko on the key. Looking to win a second Stanley Cup while with St. Louis 5 years ago. Bouncing puck in the neutral zone. Recoiled by Tarasenko. At the Panthers zone. With McDavid watching. He's being double shifted. Too hot to handle for the Panthers. And Tarasenko will send this one in. First one back at the near corner is Echo. Stretch pass for the near side. Cage of Casually. R&H is in. He's with Henrique. Long shot blocked out. Second chance. Swiped away by Bobrovsky. Onto that broken stick. Rodrigues dispossessed. And lost his stick. He's trying to get a new one. Adam Henrique will set this up. Brown still has to get a new stick. Kulikov for Montour. Brandon Montour moves it up through the middle. This goes over to the right circle. Sam Bennett just backhands one onto Skinner. It's loose in the front. It's still a loose puck. Several weapons behind the net. Rodrigues at the far corner. He's tight. And he helps out Warren Fogle, but Kachuk is there. Kachuk falls down again. This time there's no trip there in the way. Stretch pass to the far side. Holloway cancelled out by Kulikov. Still on his motor. Holloway shoved down again by Kulikov, but it left on the Fogle. Around over to the right point. Cut out by Reinhart. Now it's Draisaitl. Down low. Warren Fogle. He's inside. Loose puck swept away by Kulikov. Maybe the biggest save of the game. Oh my goodness. This is Reinhart scores!
Unbelievable call there, Alec. You had action for 7 minutes in a row. I'm not sure how that puck doesn't go in. And near the left side boards there with Bobrovsky, all sorts of traffic in front for Edmonton, continuing to drive the net. That was excellent work there for Fogle. Kulikov, I think, saves a goal. And all of a sudden the other way, here comes Sam Reinhart down the left wing. He's waiting, holding on his wristed thing near the bottom of the right post. Take the lead.
That is unbelievable that the Panthers holding at their own defensive end, having to withstand a barrage from the Edmonton Oilers. Wow.
That
Throughout Reinhart, the former Buffalo Sabre, but Lauderdale, and we have ourselves where we are back at the beginning of the game.
Alec,
Panther lead by 1 goal.
I just want to say this real quickly. You jump right. That was the most electric shift of the entire series.
It was. And Kulikov, he was getting himself into trouble at his own end. He saved the goal, and it went just wide the crease. How will the Oilers answer? This is the second goal of the series for Reinhart. Second in the NHL goal scoring with 57. Move back, and here's Kevin Stanley walking inside, to the outside, hooked and poke one in. It's by Lover, chopped away. Derek Ryan, and Ryan McLeod spun around, held inside by Okposo. Okposo far side. It is Corey Perry from the far corner over to Brett Kulak, who is back with this. We pass. Away several times. Perry walks it in. Perry dispossessed by Luostarinen. And this goes back. Luostarinen may have iced it. And he did.
Corey Perry almost looked like he did with the Ducks way back when. It took 3 players to dispossess him of the puck. We get the look. Reinhart, this just goes right underneath the right armpit of Stuart Skinner. Really the only spot he could shoot it, maybe let alone 5-hole. He snipes that thing. Draisaitl going to get.
You are out there right now. They were mostly shut up and even strength by Barkov and company, but they are not out there now. The Panthers clear. Perhaps this is the change they needed, but Bouchard holds it. Starts back to the far side. Hyman can't find the entry. It is Ekblad rushing back. Aaron Ekblad is the first one back. Move back around Ekholm. Bouchard will recollect. Partial changes for the Panthers. Anton Lundell watching. Evan Bouchard. Leon Draisaitl through the far side. On the drop pass over to McDavid. Back where Draisaitl hits one-timer. Way over to Dan Bobrovsky. May have got a piece of it, but it's out of play of 326.
Yes, it is, Alec. And the one thing I will say, at least for Bobrovsky, it certainly looked like he tracked that puck well. We've been watching that right now. He's been able to be on standby because even though the Oilers are down now, I would say in this second period, they've done a masterful job with the puck possession, and they've come so close. It's kind of looked a lot like Game 1 when they haven't had as many results as they want to. But if they can continue to do this, I still think they can win tonight.
If Florida continues to play like the way they have been, this is their game right now. And build the maintenance day for Bobrovsky, that may be what he needed.
Yeah, we'll continue to find out. Again, I said that Edmonton puck pressure has been very prevalent in this second period. If they keep knocking on the door, that's going to make life difficult for Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers. I only say this, and I'm not saying this in any way for Knoblauch, because I'm going to give him full marks and everything else when it's all done. I know they're double shifting McDavid and Draisaitl a lot. That makes sense on the power play. I still think you have to roll your lines a little bit more, maybe at least down to, I want to say, Alec, 12 minutes, maybe 10 minutes left to go in the third, and then you continuously double shift. Because I just want to make sure to keep 97 and 29 fresh. You got to make sure you do that.
That's what you want to do. Make sure that they're fresh and on the ice. No matter who's out there on the ice for the Panthers, make sure that you have them at the right positions. You want to go to your scorers later down.
Yeah, you do. I just wanted to throw that out there. Again, here for Florida, I think we could say it is plain as day. And it sounds disingenuous, but I'll say it for the Panthers this time. Maybe a couple of those goals are a little bit fortunate. But you know what? They haven't had any of those breaks here on this side for a few games. They're probably due for it now, but their defensive intensity has been much better. They're going to have to continue this. I do see a lot of Panthers, and they're excited now, but it's only going to take one more goal for Edmonton to shut them up.
And for Verhaeghe and Reinhardt, they each had one goal entering Game 7 tonight. Verhaeghe 2 points tonight after having 2 points in Games 1 through 6. It's a face-off win. A deep shot blocked up. This goes over near corner. He jumped it. Here's Reinhardt, who'll shoot this wide of Skinner potentially. Verhaeghe trying to crash the net. At the near corner, Verhaeghe. He's all tied up. And it's cleared. For race, it is Forsling the first one back. Gustav Forsling, deflected puck. Evan Bouchard will recollect this calmly at the far corner. Verhaeghe want to chop the passing lane away. Ekholm waiting patiently with this. Several stick lifts around as that pass from RNH was intercepted. The Panthers get it out and over to the Oilers collected. This will be all the way back up. Or Fogle last touch. He'll get full puck back at the near corner. Fogle, left circle, and this pass collected by Brodeur as he's walking outside of Bennett. Brodeur. Point deep shot blocked away, and this exits out the zone. Brodeur moves it up near side. Montour is the first one with this puck. 2:20 to go here in the second period. Montour is in over Skinner's head. Nurse chopped it away. It'll be settled down by Brodeur and moved up. Heavy collision there by Eetu Luostarinen. Okay. The Oilers will get this one through, and this will be Nico Meek will be the first one back. No icing. But 2 minutes to go here in the second period. Jan Mark watching. Problem way the hits are 26-11, Florida. Montour winds up, and as we sent down the ice, Skinner will wait this object almost. Been on both sides of the Battle of Florida. Bad battle while Burns are rather. It'll be Kulikov taking this one back. Second step with the Panthers. Sam Reinhardt pickpocketed. Here's behind the net. Fed on the pass. Intercepting that one is Verhaeghe. Had it knocked away from it, but it lands conveniently onto Barkov. Sasha Kulikov, wait for this. Kulikov. He'll be bumped down by Skinner.
I do want to say this, Alec, and I had my heart in my throat for a moment, especially for anybody that's a fan of the Cats. When they try to make that pass and behind as Reinhardt was set to go, he was not open when they made that pass near the left side red line. That was picked up by the Oilers and let a chance for Bobrovsky to be on his P's and Q's. So you can't have those turnovers, especially when you're late into the second period. You got to make sure if you're Florida, you got to take an advantage into the locker room.
And somewhere elsewhere in this country or continent is Lionel Messi, because he knows that he's playing for a Miami/South Florida-based team, and he's prepping for tomorrow's game against Chile for the Canadian squad. Perhaps he is watching this game closely.
I think he's doing both at the same time. He's doing some play and some prep. And again, anybody's going to be able to watch this. And at least, Alec, I can say this, and you and I will completely agree. This is a good spectacle for the NHL. And honestly, I know Florida, it's been hot between the Everblades, the Florida Panthers over the last couple of years, and now the Edmonton Oilers. I hope that this series has drawn well, because the NHL are on the biggest stage. You have the Panthers that have been doing well over the last couple of years. This is a pretty good series here so far. I think we were lucky to get this one, but it's been fun here tonight.
It has been a lot of fun. The Oilers fans, they want to have it feel like 1987. Panthers fans just want a shot at glory. The Oilers, they dream of a sixth Stanley Cup. The Panthers just dream of a Stanley Cup. Any Stanley Cup, no matter what year.
Again, I don't know if you can relay this team like Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Hayduke, and the like, but it's still Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Richard, Skinner's played well. They've had to earn it. They were up 3-0. Edmonton fights all the way back, and now it's a 2-1 Florida lead with $1:24 left to go in the second. As one of the young ladies has a Cardiac Cat shirt on. I remember that one well.
Back in 1996, when they were the first edition of the Cardiac Cats, the second edition was last year. Though both teams, well, not exactly a gauntlet to make it through, they did make it a hard-fought road on the way. Photo finish on the icing. They rode the Panthers were ahead. I thought it was McLeod who was ahead.
I agree with you. I think that was a missed call there, but the Panthers will definitely take it. Oh, by the way, again, it's a Monday night, the draft. So there's going to be a lot of NHL news, and there's also going to be the NBA draft as well. So if you like that, you're going to be in for a busy week.
We're in for very busy times here in the NHL. To take a look at Draisaitl, no goals in the series, no 10 in the playoffs, tied for third most in the NHL. Zach Hyman is 16, past Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby for most goals in a playoff run in the salary cap era. No rush here from McLeod. As we're pushing the final minute, we're 107 away from the end of the second. Bouchard taken for a ride by Rodrigues. This puck comes over the left side for Mikula. Up and around. Rodrigues goes out behind the net. Evan Bouchard. Several accidents. Draisaitl was there, so was Bennett. And when the Panthers shut down, and Bouchard will start up with this. And lead pass denied for Draisaitl. He sets up at the front. They're going to call it offside, actually. Ryan McLeod and Draisaitl look to enter.
Yeah, he made no intently on Draisaitl to stop. About 5 strides off.
It's 5 strides off of the puck. He thought this was going into the zone, but no.
47 seconds left. No goals this series for Draisaitl. He's played well defensively, though, but they need him.
You need him on the goal scoring department. McDavid's out there up to the ice, but he loses. Short around. Through the far side, Ekblad, the first one back. McDavid arrives there as well. McDavid on the boat. RNA there. That was bounced around. Reinhardt moves it up. Through the far side is Verhaeghe. Moves it around. Bouchard was in the way there, but also right there was one of the Verhaeghe's team. Here's Ekholm on the hold around for Hyman. Hyman hands off for Bouchard. Bouchard winds it up. Take rebound. RNH got a stick back on that, and the Panthers wear down. Bouchard jumps up. It's too high for him. But that missed jump is a play.
It's an opportunity for them to get one more chance. This is a giant 6.2 left in the period. Bobrovsky is going to get traffic in front of his face if they win that draw. You got McDavid on the opposite wing.
Opposite wing side. So McDavid on the left side. You have Draisaitl out there to take this base off. Opposite Sam Reinhart. It is Reinhart from McDavid, pokes it back. Barkov jumps in, and that essentially runs out the second period. What a shift that was on the way. Dmitry Kulikov sticking away what would have been a surefire. The Panthers were 68-0-4 when leading after 200 last 72 games are one period away from ultimate glory. Can Verhaeghe need a charm, or will the Oilers have an answer up their sleeve?
We got a lot of questions left to answer, Mr. Nava, and I do want to give you your flowers here. A+ gold star, pay this man. That was excellent work in the second period by you, sir. It's been a lot of fun to be able to take the. Again, my heart's going to beat a little bit extra here, regardless of admitting, but I'm trying to stay as neutral as possible. It's been a lot of fun to cover this. Before we give you the reset of this Stanley Cup final as we head into the third period, we need to give you a big reset in the Hershey, ladies and gentlemen. This game is in OT. It's 4-4. If Hershey wins this, they will claim back-to-back Calder's. Pierre Dubé has a hat, but it's not enough because Kel Fleury scored at 17:05 of the third. The Giant Center is in OT. Funny that game's in OT because this game could still very well go in OT.
It could, because very realistic here. 2-1, but the Panthers, they have not lost in regulation when leading after two. The only loss overtime. If any team were to accomplish that, it may as well be the Oilers. But that's why you need your guys like McDavid, Draisaitl on the ice. The Panthers, they found their game again, and they're playing their best defensive hockey.
Yeah, they are. Again, that's the key word for me, Alec, defense. We have not seen that from the Panthers in the last three games. I understand that they love to press. They love to be able to cause chaos. But I've said it a bunch of times, and I have to say it again. Just because you forecheck, yeah, that's great. But when you don't turn that puck over, it creates jailbreaks the other way. And the Edmonton Oilers have pretty much shoved it down the Panthers' throats the last three games. This one certainly seems to be a mental reset and attention to detail, and in turn looking like the Florida Panthers that have had that chance before. And yes, you have a luxury of being up 3-0 in this series and 5 of closeout games before you finally figure it out. And I don't want to sit here and say this either, but either one of these teams that loses it, I don't want to see all the ultimate memes against the Florida Panthers or the Edmonton Oilers because I don't think either one of these teams deserve it. And we thought that this series was over, but for either one of these teams to battle back considering where they are, and for Florida to get back in back-to-back years, both of these squads.
All right, so I did get something here, so show the game, please. Well, can't do that because copyright.
Yes, I always get a bunch on the YouTube side, and I have to say that to everybody else, copyright gets in the way, otherwise we would. That's why we give you the play-by-play in color and all.
That's exactly the reason, because Disney's going to be right banging on our doors if you show the games.
And I love to work with you, so if I do that, then we never get a chance to do this again. They'd probably take my phone as well and smash it into a million pieces. So we can't do that, but we're going to give you the play-by-play. Alex shares everything. He does his due diligence. So we do the best we can here. Let's give you the reset. So Carter Verhaeghe with the tip to 427 from Rodrigues and Lundell. Rodrigues fires it on. Verhaeghe gets a stick shaft on it, puts it through Skinner in the left pad. It's a 1-0 lead, but it only lasts for about a minute and a half as Matthias Janmark breakaway right down the middle of the ice from Cody Ceci, long pass. Boy, how good has Janmark been? Of the second period, Sam after the goal nearly goes in the back of the net, Kulikov able to get a back skate on it, save Bobrovsky's bacon, Reinhart off the rush near the right side wall, assisted by Verhaeghe and Kulikov. And I know you said this during your active play-by-play. I know the game's not over, Alec, but Carter Verhaeghe, he looks like he's back in his normal body again.
And he looks like he's back and fully confident. And even though he got demoted to the second power play, we can call that first goal as an extension of a power play goal because it did expire, but he still had the power play here on the second one.
Bobrovsky 14 out of 15. Stuart Skinner 15 out of 17. Your team stat reset. Again, now it's 18. They updated the shots. 25-13 Cats lead hits. 18-16 on draws. Both teams just 0 for 1 on the power play. And the power play that the Oilers did get after Tkachuk pretty much blew a tire, that was almost disaster. And I'm not sure how Kevin Stenlund was able to not have a goal be conceded on his part, Alec, because he had his stick blown up for pretty much all 1 minute and 40 seconds. He was stuck on the ice.
He was. I'm not sure how the Oilers did not score on that power play when it was essentially a 5-on-3 on his stick to get shot stopped right towards his direction because the guy on his stick, he can't defend at the full 1%. He can't clear the puck, and it was a good hole, but you got to find it back in the net on the man advantage.
Yeah, you do, and that's the hold, and that's what we're talking about. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, there will be no Game 7. Hershey Bears, back-to-back Calder champions. They break the heart of the Coachella Valley Firebirds once again, and they do it early. Matt Strom, his second from Riley Sutter. Bogan Train have a 106 of OT. Congratulations to the Hershey Bears, back-to-back Calder Cup champions.
I don't know how to feel about this considering it's Central PA, but Hershey, the chocolate capital of the United States, that's got to be something. That the Hershey Bears back-to-back Calder Cup champions and to do it both times in Oakland, that is special for them. Congratulations to Hershey on an achievement that very rarely do you see such an achievement in the NHL. Only happened twice between the Penguins and the Lightning. It's hard to win the Calder Cup. It's harder to repeat. This is special for Hershey.
Yes, it is, Alec, and I think it's well said because, look, we're going to be completely honest with you. I only get a chance to cover it every once in a while when it's on NHL Network. Sometimes we don't have the luxury of even having that channel, Alec and I, so I try to get a couple of those when we can. But there is a young goaltender, maybe not young, maybe 28 years old, but Hunter Shepard has been in the AHL Calder Cup ranks a long time for the Hershey Bears. With that trade of Darcy Kemper for PLD, Charlie Lindgren's going to be the number one, but we might see Hunter Shepard in a little bit more of a backup role as he was last year for the Caps from time to time.
Either Lindgren or perhaps Lindgren's going to be a starter, but you speak of Shepard, but also I want to put another name out there. Even though he may have been named the first stringer during the Capitals playoff run, Clay Stevenson could be in the conversation.
Yeah, and Clay Stevenson is part of the backup side as well, so we might be able to chance to see a little bit. At least I think, Alec, you want to make sure that Charlie Lindgren honestly had a wonderful year for the Caps and was every single reason alongside Spencer able to get that team into the postseason. But Charlie Lindgren's going to need a break every once in a while.
He is, considering he's earned #1 goaltender honors. Do remember he started in Montreal as a third stringer, but now he's worked his way up to being a starting netminder. At time to time, he was the first stringer for St. Louis when Ville Husso or Jordan Binnington was out, but now he's in a situation that he's become the #1 goaltender. He actually outperformed Darcy Kemper in the net last season and won the starting job this season on the way to the playoffs. So I feel it's well earned. We'll have to see how he does on an extended look.
Yes, we do. That's the only thing you have to think about for Charlie Lindgren, because that's his first time to really kind of star and steal the show a little bit, and he completely earned it. And that's what Alec and I are telling you. But it is about longevity as well. 30s, it's a good time to get the spotlight, although I don't know how long he can particularly handle it. But if he can continue to do so, that would give the Caps a lot of work. And also, we can say this. Alec and I have been able to watch a couple players in particular. Joe Snively for a small piece for Hershey, but Henrik LaPierre, that young center that the Caps do have, he scored his 7th here today on this side, and during the Calder Cup run, he should be that the Caps can use. They do need to get younger, but LaPierre is one of those big pieces that they do have.
LaPierre stepped up big as the third-line center for Washington this season. He is a future piece down the stretch. He, Joe Snively, and we mentioned about some young core pieces down the line. Alexander Alexeyev, Lucas Johansson, maybe Vincent Iorio, and how about the debut of Ivan Miroshnichenko, who beat cancer and scored a goal against Pittsburgh on his first of his career. That is special for Miroshnichenko. He's going to be a long-term staple down.
That's awesome that you mentioned that, Alec. Actually, I didn't know that he beat cancer, so that's actually great that you mentioned. I'm glad you did. I need to step away just for a couple minutes, but I'll be well back before the period starts. Just give me 2 minutes.
All right, so to give you the reset here, in Game 7 of this year's Stanley Cup Final is a 2-1 Panther lead, and the goal scored by Carter Verhaeghe is 11 from Everett. At 4:27, that lead lasted for 2 minutes and 16 seconds, or rather 17 seconds, actually. Matthias Janmark from Cody Ceci on a breakaway to tie it up at 1. That was the goal scoring in the first period. Sam Reinhart late in the second period from Carter Verhaeghe and Dmitry Kulikov to get the Panthers up by 1. 2-1 entering the third period. Shots are 17-15 Florida. Hits 25-13 Florida as well. If we look at the takeaway department, one thing is common, that the Oilers this time around are at the lower end of it, but they've done a good job of blocking shots. But they have a slim edge this time around. 12-11 blocked shots in favor of Edmonton. Either team was able to score on the power play. They each had one chance each. Giveaways 7-5 Panthers, but that's not bothered them as much as it has here in this game because of how they press on the attack. So that is the reset here in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. But wow, has it been. What a fun ride it's been in the 2024 NHL season. Can't believe it's the final day of the 2024 NHL season. But we're here to give you the season just for the draft that's coming this Friday. And the start of the free agency and the chaos that's going to ensue next week.
All right, everybody.
And also, they're pointing out the ESPN broadcast. The Panthers are 18-0 when leading after 2 periods in the last 2 postseasons. So I gave the reset, John. But here's the key stat: 18-0 when leading after 2 in the last 2 postseasons.
That is exceptional numbers. We talked about the Cardiac Cats a little bit. President's Trophy run. I know this team from last year was a little bit different. You had that fight 2 months in to be able to get into playoffs. They wouldn't have made it if they were in the West. You fight to get all the way to Vegas. You're so beat up against Boston. Run out of gas. Get to 5. Now you're up 3-0. This time you're ready to go. Edmonton push in the way. If they go 19-0, they get their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. Or the Edmonton Oilers get their first in 1990. And Canada claims one for the first time since 93 when they were led by Patrick Waugh and the Montreal Canadiens.
For a period, they were to turn things around, but the Panthers, they're at their best here. McDavid with just 2 shots on 15:46 of ice time. He does not have a goal here in games, but it may be the time for him to score or even set up a goal.
So again, I talked about Stratomatic in the sense of 3-2. It's 6 games correctly. Not exactly the scoreline, but it's picked all the winners. 3-2, Florida is supposed to win in overtime, but Connor McDavid in the Stratomatic pick, Alec, was going to have 2 goals. So you might be, and you're very right. If it goes 3-2, it could go 3-2 Oilers, and McDavid could play hero. That would absolutely end.
It would. With him, it would be so fitting if that would be the thing of movies, the thing of cinema, for McDavid to score the winning goal. And to do it, to put the Oilers on his back, to bring them to Lord Stanley, to bring it to where Canada calls.
So I do want to ask you this, and I don't want to jump either way. I'm going to let you have the pick. Alec, do you want to start the 10 minutes and then I close it, or do you want to close today?
So, to say the least, let's do it. Do it. And I'll say, on the coin flip, on the coin toss, how about, if I remember that you closed it out last year, how about we keep that trend going?
Okay, well, I appreciate that, Alec. If things go sideways and it goes all to Edmonton, I might just give it to you and go curl in a corner, but I don't think that's going to be the way it goes today. I'm able to actually stay in I've tried to get some good sleep, some exercise, eat well, and not my thoughts on nightmare fuel because I just didn't want to see an 8-1 result.
Nobody really wanted to see an 8-1 result like what we did in game 4. That could have been, and this paired with games 5 and 6 for what we saw. If that maintenance day for Bobrovsky doesn't happen beforehand, we might not be here.
Absolutely. I think you said it best. And I know I said I would mention this because you brought up Michkov. It sounds like the KHL contract mutual decision because I think dad unfortunately had passed away, but he's going to be able to get out from underneath his deal and join as a member as soon as this Stanley Cup ends.
As soon as it ends, he's going to go Brodeur. So that may be smart for the Flyers for him to join along with them. Michkov joining with the emphasis of the future between him and Ivan Fedotov, both coming into Philadelphia. That's your forward of the future, your goalie of the future.
And you know what, honestly, Alec, that could be gigantic news because I thought Michkov might be joining a team that was in the basement, but the Flyers just missed the postseason. They played pretty well. They had fits starts, but John Tortorella that team.
He did. He did very good.
So you'll get set to take this 10 minutes. Do your best, Alec, to give me some good news.
I promise I will.
Have some fun with it. This is not an opportunity that you and Alec joined with me from the very beginning, from game 1 and game 7, because I know Cooper Hopkins was going to be on and off. I know he wanted to be here for this one, but unfortunately work came calling. We'll get into some post-game celebration or send up some messages across. Or maybe, Alec, he's just staying away because the 3 games he joined us, Oilers bloodbath wins.
Oh, the conspiracies. Oh, goodness. Oh, no.
He was all about the conspiracies there, and you know what? I kind of had a side eye. 2-1 is the score. 17-15 on shots, 42-37 on attempts. Ozone time's pretty much dead even. 9:30 for the Oilers, 9:24 for the Panthers. But it's going to be a mistake on one end, and Edmonton can definitely capitalize. Florida's going to have to keep up that devastating forecheck and attention to detail on defense. This is the first time the Florida Panthers have looked like the Panthers in 8 days. On it. Connor McDavid, he's not going to have a silent third period. Leon Draisaitl, he's not going to have a silent third period. You better be ready and on your toes and get ready to go here.
We are all ready to go. The Panthers, who have won 25 straight times when leading after 2 periods. McDavid and Draisaitl held masterful work by the Panther defense. So we're underway here for period number 3 as Philip Panthers first one back. Alec Nava, John, I'll take the first 10 minutes. John will close it out on the final 10. Vladimir Tarasenko on this puck. Moved over to Lundell. Guy shot deflected in front. Skinner got a piece. Here's Lundell. Immediately he's pressing. This is put more onus on the Oilers to respond here. Tarasenko dropping back. Luostarinen, OEL. Back around Tarasenko. And a wraparound try. Skinner shut that door. Darnell Nurse moves it over to the near side. Plays it over there with Hyman. Caught. Had a glove down by Bouchard, who set it up through. The breakout lane was shot away. Now here comes Sam Reinhart. Clear this one out as Ekholm will take it up. McDavid's out there on the ice. Far side is Ekholm walking with his puck, 1 minute removed. Ekholm fires around far side. We recollected by McDavid's on his tail. Poked around several times. It's bounced around over to the near corner. McDavid back over to Bouchard. Sends one out to the goal. Loose down in front. Deflected he spins out. McDavid with this. Panthers fans on their feet. Kachuk picks it up over to the wide open Sam Bennett. Bennett pumps it high. And it goes over to the far half boards. Whacking around is Rodrigues on the hole. Bennett chasing after it. This goes over near his side. Leon Draisaitl there. Draisaitl with Bennett watching. Far side and now near side. Cody Ceci for Brett Kulak. Cycles it out and jumps toward Fogle. Panthers trying to clear. Brodeur can't get it out. Okposo can't either. Right point. Rushing for this puck. Rodrigues high puck. Nico Mikla trying to clear. It's bouncing around with Holloway in the way. Okposo. Leon Draisaitl there. Now to clear. This will be bluffed down at the Panthers 30th anniversary logo and sent down side of Montour picking this up. Away from Draisaitl. To the far side. Just held in by the Steelers. Centering pass. Corey Perry. Good sticking away. The Panthers cut away that pass. Good job defending the rush. No break. As Dorn got there. The pass cut off by Lomberg. The ex-Flame. Darno Nurse. Picked apart by Lomberg. Kevin Stenlund is at the trapezoid. Chopped away at it. And the Oilers will get cleared. This bounces over. They're the Panthers zone. Not enough for an icing. OEO pick it up. 3 minutes removed here. And period number 3. The one lead. Far side on the entry. Luostarinen. Sandwiched out by Ekholm, who tackles him down. Derek Ryan trying to join in on the festivities. Held at that far side. Aaron Ekblad. Pick up. Ryan McLeod. Can't get it through over to Zach Hyman. And resetting his Bouchard, who gets sandwiched out. But Luostarinen is down again.
I think he got hit with a high stick, Alec. It looks like the Panthers might be going to the power play.
Oh my goodness. That really does not look good. They're going to check for blood on Eetu Luostarinen. We'll see here. He's having his referees. Dan O'Rourke also there. They're going to say 2. No blood. Ever Bouchard to the box.
That is an absolute break, as you did maybe get a cut across the bridge, but an absolute break because Connor McDavid was on a one-on-0 essentially. He would have scored.
Oh my goodness, to see. Yeah, McDavid was on a 1-on-0. Essentially, he could have got something, but the fact that Bouchard sticked up Luostarinen up high, that nullified that. So now we get a 2-minute power play for the Florida Panthers. They have against Edmonton. This one stopped by Skinner on the one-timer. 7 seconds removed.
I'm going to say the smart you-know-what comment of the side, Alec. I don't know if it's important that Florida scores here, but it's they don't give up a shorthanded goal. My goodness.
I mean, to point it out, David outscored 2-1. But against the Oilers shorthanded attack, this time it's the Oilers winning a face-off and they cleared this one down. Through the ice, it was Ekholm. The Oilers have killed out 47 of their last 48. Overall, 65 of 69. They're going 66 of 70 overall, 48 of their last 49. Barkov to the near side. Tarasenko looks to drop it back and around over to Ryan. Oilers all over this puck. Ekholm and Ceci tying up Barkov. This comes over to Nugent-Hopkins. No break there. The Oilers will send this one down over to Bobrovsky, who stop off his trapper and leave behind for OEL. The ex-Coyote and the ex-Canuck. Left it up over to the far side so he can get the overhead cam this time around. Verhaeghe, who has the first goal of Game 7, first goal of the Stanley Cup final. Barkov, too hot to handle. And the Oilers, could this be something here? Connor Brown, next to Matthias Janmark. Brown setting up to the front. This one fired wide. Panthers trying to counter here. On the other direction, Rodrigues with Brodeur getting back. Rodrigues side with stop. He'll send it over behind the net to Lundell. Back for Erod. He continues to look over at the right circle. Rodrigues. To Bennett. Bennett shoots one, fires it high. This one goes over to Verhaeghe. Now back behind it is Lundell. At the trapezoid. 2 Oilers watching. Back over to the right circle is Bennett. Bennett bumps it high again. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Verhaeghe, Lundell, far side, Bennett at the right hash of the contour. People are just second in along to Verhaeghe. Ekblad down the one-timer. Nurse trying to clear. It's not out. Backed it around for the glass. It's still loose. On this ferocious buck battle on no man's land. 8 seconds on the power play. Out in front, a left by Sam Bennett. Stuart
Yes, it was. He hasn't had a lot, neither has Bobrovsky in this one. But a bouncing puck. Bennett is there. Quickly close the 5-hole. Make sure Bennett's got nothing to shoot at. Good work there by Stu.
Here's work there to hold the crease as Colma Sever for as tight as this game has been, for as bout as the Oilers are, with Stuart Skinner facing elimination games, Skinner having been the best form that Stuart Skinner has brought upon, that he has been. 4 seconds on the power play to get Barkov with Luostarinen and Reinhardt out there onto the ice. So an interesting formation up against Derek Ryan, Evan Bouchard ready to come out. Set Gustav Borges to the front. Moves out in front. It's with the puck away. Barkov on the hold for the near corner. Left around by Nugent-Hopkins. Chopped around once. Now back deep is Hyman, who looks to send it up front. And just enough for it to not be icing. The Oilers have officially killed off 48 of their last 49, 66 of 70. 3 power play goals allowed against Vancouver is the most in a series in the entire playoffs, as this one goes out to play with 14-15 left.
I don't care if this ends up being accurate or not, but I'm going to say it right now. This is the best penalty killing unit I have ever seen watching hockey in my 37 years of life.
This is unbelievable from the Oilers and the Oiler defense.
Yes.
For Blinken to look early, tighten up under Knoblauch and Coffey, and it led them to a game 7. Even if they lose this, hats off to them as we get a face-off at center ice between Draisaitl and Rodrigues. Rodrigues wins it. McDavid with 34 assists this postseason, an NHL record. It is Skinner behind the crease. Over to Nurse, who plays it over the far side. McDavid charging up front. Pass knocked away. Sam Bennett back inside. Can't find the inside lane as Draisaitl. Force the intercept for Bouchard. And many Panthers fans angry. They think there should be another penalty here. And we touched by Draisaitl. 5-on-5 we stay. To the right side, Draisaitl. Still looking for his first goal of the final. And Draisaitl taking out some Oilers fans upset on the other end. Still we are 5-on-5. And this goes back over to the Oilers zone where it's Ekholm walking slowly as we have some line changes. To be taken up for the near side by CMD. Moves around. McDavid moves it through. Full sandwich up. McDavid trying to get a little too fancy around the Panther defense. Cody Ceci, good seeing eye to glove it down. And he'll fire it around. Bobrovsky to the far corner. Warren Fogle rush there. And this bounces up out the center. Cleared up by Brett Kulak, who moved over to the near side boards. Moves inside, right across going after Sergei. Plays it over to the trapezoid. Now the Panthers on the counter, far side. Lundell intercepted, back up the Oilers. No lane up front for McDavid. No take it to the net. Bobrovsky saw that one. 12:52. That was Fogle, right?
Yes, you did. And the pass initially to try to get this one up the other way for the Florida Panthers actually bounced off one of the Zebras as we go to break. Connor McDavid continuing to do laps before we went to that commercial. We know we're going to get double shifted. We know if the Edmonton Oilers are probably down a goal still after 6 or 7 more minutes, we're going to see that timeout for Knoblauch. We'll probably see an early empty net pull if the scoreline stays the same around the 5-minute marker. Just trying to get to set the scene here, but it only takes one. If the Edmonton Oilers find a way to tie this, I'm going to say this now, and this might be my own undoing, but Alec, if they find a way to tie, they're going to win it.
In overtime, would it be?
I think it will go to overtime, just as Cooper predicted and just as you talked about.
Well, if it was written in a storybook, it could be right there in the making. Last we see about a potential reverse sweep on the horizon, and the game yet to go back to the year the Canucks made to the final in 2011, when they went toe-to-toe with the Chicago Blackhawks, who were the defending champions at the time. The Blackhawks tied on a shorty by Jonathan Taves. And one stat you think of. Entering this game, Alexander Barkov was 2 takeaways away from breaking the go-ahead, from breaking the all-time takeaway record ever since that was first tracked. The all-time record entering this game, Taves with 32 in 2010.
Hey, that's incredible numbers. And regardless of Again, nobody is going to be able to match up with Connor McDavid point for point all the way across the board. But that's incredible work for Alexander Barkov. They ask him to do everything, and he does everything pretty well.
He does. He does. Third period may be the best that we've seen, but a good stick left by Barkov to take that passing lane away, intended for Draisaitl, which could have very likely been his first goal of the final. And Eric Ekblad, who stayed with Connor McDavid, he's showing that, hey, I got out of the picture here among first overall picks. The Oilers is going for Bouchard. Set up pass over to the near corner. Draisaitl taking out more right by Reinhart. Bump and run. Draisaitl still with this. At the left point, Bouchard. Blows one up. This lands onto Bob. 12:39 left.
And I noticed that Bobrovsky giving a stick pat on the backside of his defense there. Everything clean, make sure there's no screens out in front. Good work there. Bob's locked in, but he needs to be locked in for another 12:39.
That's the mentality here. All it takes, 12 minutes, 39 seconds, until glory can be theirs. The Oilers, they came close previously. Williams away before they lost that. I am on the draw. This goes over to the far side is Hyman. Zach Hyman taking the trapezoid. Hyman shoved away by Ekblad, staying on his feet. Off balance. McDavid has it. McDavid giving it over to Bouchard. McDavid on the backhander. Reiner was in the way. Now it's a foot race back over to the Oilers zone. McDavid's the first one back. We'll hand it off over to the far side. Ekholm plays to this. Matthias Ekholm bouncing puck to the Panthers zone. Hyman rushing back with fourthly. Bennett also there. Race for this loose puck. Bennett shot at it. This goes over to the Panther bench.
Got check time in a little bit as we will get set pretty soon to hand the play-by-play side off. I hope that I don't bring bad luck to one of these teams or one of the other. But this seems, Alec, you and I were waiting for this to be close, competitive, to feel like a Game 7. And I know the one team is in front right now, but I can say this might be the best game of the series to date.
Yeah, maybe. It is easily the best game of the series. And the last time we saw a Game 7 the final this tight, we both remember that well. 12:05 left here in the third period. Now I'm closing up for my time ending soon enough before I hand it back over to John. Darno Nurse, right behind that. Philip Broberg chopped away at it. Now it is Connor Brown, a tie up in his own zone. Now it's right side. Brandon Montour watched that lane. Philip Broberg, the first one there. On his backhand, trying to chop it around. It's still in the trapezoid. A tall right past him. And that's a blessing in disguise. Guys, of 11:38.
And guess who comes back on the ice again? My second mention, God, David. They are going to make sure to double shift again. I see Leon. We know what Kris Knoblauch's going to do. You take it away for a little while longer here, Alec. These guys to strike. They got Hyman on the ice as well.
Nick Hyman's going to sit at the front of the nets. That's the belief here. Draisaitl on the face-up. Get a win here, which he does with help from McDavid. Back home, fakes the drive. Now is Bouchard around for McDavid. McDavid cycles back around for Dry. Dry takes out a man. Draisaitl behind the net. Draisaitl rides it over to the far side. The move pass to Bouchard. At one time before Echo bouncing puck as around the piece. One down, failed to clear. It is Draisaitl back for Echo. Another try. Moves out in front. Another block in front. The Panthers taking their changes here. Through. The Oilers going for an icing. Won't get it here. Echo riding his own zone. Matthias Echo ready for the far side. Now the cross-ice pass. It is Draisaitl lead the way. Draisaitl for the near side. Draisaitl ran towards the wall by Forsling, who forced a turnover. Now at the far side. Plowing away is Rodrigues. Hand it back to you.
10:49 left to go in the third. Alec Nava's done an absolute A-plus job. Play-by-play. I'm going to get set to take this over the rest of the way, do the best I can. I'm not going to be able to match that side of it. We'll see if the Florida Panthers zone draw. This will go back to Cody Ceci. Again, the Oilers only down one here. I have the belief that they're probably going to win it as this one's sent down deep. This will be iced against the Cats. 10:36 left until possible immortality.
Who knows? Because immortality could be anything that can happen here.
Yep.
whether it be the Oilers or the Panthers. The Oilers, they need the next one, in my opinion. Get Draisaitl and McDavid onto the ice. That's why you're double shifting them if you're Kris Knoblauch. Right now, it's RNH on the face-off.
Completely 100% agree with you, Alec, on that side. It cannot be any other way. If the Cats get another one, I'd have to think that this could be done, as this is picked up now for Ekblad, because I would trust them to be able to hold on to a lead. We've been able to see that enough. And how many times, 4 games in a row, kind of embarrassed them in the last 3. Both teams have kind of been doing that. This is picked up now by McLeod. Stick chop doesn't get it out. Sent back around boards now is Florida, desperate to find it now. RNH and be able to call his name a lot, as this is Bennett. This is chopped up and way done with this third period. Florida has never won a Stanley Cup. Edmonton last won in 1990 when they beat the Boston 5. 52% of the games in Game 7 have been decided by 1 goal. Dylan Holloway off the back pass, he gets dispossessed by Kulikov. And this one will be sent down. Darnell Nurse will touch. This will not be iced. This will start again. The road whites with the blue tops and the mix of the orange striping. It'll be the home reds with the blue pants and the white striping for near the right side boards. Philip Broberg takes a hit to make a play, as this is very loose. Leinart now trying to find it. Reinhart with the latest goal. Answer from Verhaeghe and Matthias Janmark for Edmonton. That's why it's 2-1. Is this one sent back down, lofted down the ice? This will be blown dead.
Icing here against the Panthers, that very thing you do not want, because if I'm the Panthers, you need to keep getting your guys shifts. 40-second shifts is where you're at. The norm established by Herb Brooks, 14 USA in 1980.
106 but it has happened in hockey. Bouchard will take this D to D. All sorts of traffic in front of Bobrovsky. Edmonton just needs shots. Wrister, this one blocked. Good work by Lombard. Dispossessed. It's a 2-on-2. I don't expect Florida to try to do too much. Maybe not. Backhand play. Trying to keep this one alive was Reinhart. That was excellent work to stay on his feet, but he absolutely gets rocked. They are not calling anything here in a Game 7. You imagine that usually doesn't happen. Pretty much going to have to get a Mortal Kombat type fatality if we're going to get a call. And that's the honest way to say it. As Forsling, 8:25 left to go in the third. Florida trying to get their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. They did have a 3-0 lead, and Edmonton changed that completely around where we are on Monday, June 24th, as is gained in across the right side red line. Shot board reads 1917. Reinhardt's got the GWG for now. As the wall. This will be blocked. Luostarinen trying to get a piece of it now with Vlad Tarasenko. Third out there for Paul Maurice's squad. This will be sent all the way down. Bobrovsky has got a hold. He'll take no chances.
Oh, that was so dangerous. Guess who was out there? But if the loose puck came in front, 4 goalies, 1 skater. When caused by winners on the lead, the low skater was Reggie Leach, 1976. You got to think, no matter what, that McDavid's going to be the Conn Smythe winner here. But once again, we look at Matthias Janmark as Sam Reinhart. He was undressing Evan Bouchard at the defensive zone. So we see that move time and time for McDavid. They expect Reinhart of all people to do that move. But good recovery by Draisaitl to prevent what would be a sweet goal.
Absolutely. And again, we talk about Draisaitl. I mean, I haven't on the goals that he's won, but his defense has been excellent. Again, as you mentioned, Reinhart, I didn't expect you at this point in the game, as this is now sent back down. And again, regardless, as you said, with whatever happens with Connor McDavid, should he even be held pointless for 2 straight games, he's going to get the Conn Smythe win, lose, or draw here.
Win, lose, or draw. You can throw out the draw part, but McDavid, he's out there. He wants to come. It isn't just about the Conn Smythe Trophy. He's played 20 minutes and 6 seconds of ice time as of now. He could. And a game breaker here, dude. Now this one back at 2. Who knows?
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, Stratomatic picked them with 2 goals and a 3-2 victory, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Florida's got to get it. That's what was picked, but Connor McDavid could still make this a 3-2 scoreline. .160 career points per game in the playoffs is third in NHL history behind Gretzky and Lemieux. Bouchard. Here is McDavid. Half pirouette. He fell down again. There is something wrong with the ice surface. Again, on this side, it's very hot in Florida. We talk about we're playing in the summer months. Here's McDavid. Shovel pass. This one in between the Florida bodies, but it's an easy pickup for Draisaitl. And Bobrovsky was swimming on the crease. Slap shot. This one stopped by the right pad, but he never tracked it. Here's Ekholm. Slap. Good save. Bobrovsky. Big rebound, though. This is back to the defensive side. Edmonton looks like they're about to score. McDavid, he's got it on his stick. Get the shot off, and we get a stoppage.
How in the absolute wide world did Sergei Bobrovsky shut that one down? Looked like it was there for the taking. Sergei Bobrovsky was on all fours and somehow, some way, have a one-goal game.
I have no idea how McDavid's got this. He makes the move. He got canceled off by Gustav Forsling in the right pad of Bobrovsky as Bennett. He's just getting smashed inside his own goal crease as we go to break.
Yeah, we also want to talk about the ice surface. It is a little slip and slide here because, as you mentioned about the hot days, it is hot here in Florida because of these heat waves. But Sergei Bobrovsky, who gives a gosh darn about the ice surface, he is holding his own.
Oh, absolutely, Alec. Again, we talked about it. And look, Bob's heard it. And you also know from some business I follow along across the NHL globally that Bobrovsky is one of the most even kill people in the entire world, correct? He's heard every single thing that's been said about him the last 3 games, and it looks like he's not bothered.
He's not bothered by it at all. All the talk, everything about him. But there were some points made who's going to start here in Game 7, but he did get the nod, and he's back up to confidence. Made to this day, once again, working.
And there's no, again, from me and Alec, there's no way that Anthony Stolarz starts in a Game 7. I'm sorry.
There's no way you turn to him or Spencer Knight. There's absolutely no way that you go to your backups because you want to trust the net-minded a year or two.
He's the one that got you here. He's the one that helped you win 3 games. I know it's the entire team, but don't forget, Bobrovsky stole Game 1. This series could already be over if he didn't do that.
It could. If there was no maintenance day, we'd be looking at a different game.
So we are getting closer to the pendulum swinging for the final time. Edmonton everything to play for, but I see it now on the camera shot, Alec, and you're about to see it. The Stanley Cup emerges.
It's here. It's back home from its case, over at its pedestal, waiting to be won.
And this time it's going to be taken for good by one of these teams. Ekholm, McDavid, what a play. This one goes wide of the cage, though, up above the bar. Offside against McDavid. Didn't mean to do it. He was just skating back. No shot attempts since the 14:39 marker of the period. You can't just sit back and play defense, but you got to find a way to hold on to that 1-goal lead.
You can account for the talent on the team, but you can never underestimate the hunger of a dog that has eaten in days. McDavid's getting amped up, and he's trying to fire up his bench, trying to motivate him. Hey, come on, do something.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring it on the ice. Attempts can be limited here and there, but still, he's bringing the effort, and so is Draisaitl. They just need some extra push here as we get a whistle with 6:30 left to go. Looks like another hand pass is going to stop play.
It was very close, but nonetheless, if you're holding on to it defensively, you need to go and press one last counterattack because the Oilers are pressing as we bring Ian on board.
Hey there, fellas. I know I'm late. I know I'm way late into the broadcast. I've had a lot of things to do today, but I've been able to keep up because in 5 points doing their broadcast.
You've joined into a good one right now, and this Game 7 might be the best and competitive. Edmonton now really starting to push the pace on the shots as we've hit the final 6 minutes. Reinhardt's goal for the GWG right now is Evan Rodrigues is really getting poked and prodded, and now the refs finally blow it dead. But number 17, they're killing time.
I wonder intentionally, some fans may not like it, but you want to limit the Oilers as much as possible and restrict the amount of time that they are to attack. Just sit on that puck, but don't make it too obvious because that would be delay of game.
Absolutely. That's a good call by you. So you have to make sure you watch that there for the Panthers. We'll take a break as we're underneath 6 minutes.
One way or another, a champion will be crowned. History will be made tonight. Or a team wins their first cup.
You know what? There's still a lot of hockey left to be played, but you know how in every game, there's always a moment when you can go back and look and say, right there, that's where the game was won. If Florida happens to win this, it will be because Bobrovsky became God and shut down McDavid.
I know Alec had mentioned among the main trying to get him back into his routine. You're absolutely right, Alec, because when you look at it in games 4 through 6, his save percentage was a .763. That's not going to win you any games.
It's not. You want to get that up. And I'm glad for Bobrovsky that the maintenance day helped out for him to get his first Stanley Cup on the way and for him to transcend space and time like he did in Game 1. Team to come between him or Kyle closer the Panthers hold on.
I'll tell you one thing, there'll be a whole sense of relief for all the Cats fans that are there and the ones that are listening or commentating. I don't want to throw myself out there as well as I see some Gretzky jerseys, which is cool to see. Neutral zone draw. Anton Lundell can't win it, and now this will be pushed the other way. You got the Connor Brown line out there right now, who's already done some damage, but mostly on the shorthanded side of it. We'll see how much longer these bottom lines are going to play, as Luostarinen, Tarasenko's got a wrister and Skinner's got a hold. The good thing for the Cats is it gets an offensive zone draw.
That's the good stuff for them. With Stuart Skinner over to the right side, Vladimir Tarasenko is bumped up to the first power play while he doesn't yet. I like the change of putting Tarasenko onto the top power play unit. That's where he gets the Oilers off guard. But it has not the turn. 5 goals is mostly for Tarasenko, free eye his career.
5:34 left to go. Can Florida win up in franchise history? Can Edmonton claim it for the first time since 1990? Can a Canadian team claim for the first time since 93? That's what's at stake right now as we get into Oilers icing.
Aaron Ekblad was the first there over to the far corner, so it wasn't close on that icing on the rush. But you get a sense that a desperate Oilers team will be firing at the net endlessly.
That last look that we had with Bobrovsky, McDavid gets tied up at the last one by the defense. Bobrovsky falls down. Sam Bennett falls into the net, able to keep the puck out in a goal line stand. The third is you're looking at the Terminator eyes of Big Bob. I normally say that about the Big Cat, but Big Bob trying to get a Stanley Cup. As this one now sent around, picked up now by Barkov in behind the cage. He's trying to get around Ekholm. And you got to watch Hyman here. Outstretched passes, you know that's happening here for Edmonton as we get another stoppage with 5:10. McDavid tried to cheat a little bit, and that's going to be blown dead.
Tried to jump the attack, but offsides rules are there. Tried to be a little too early with this, but that's not going to fool out the officials.
Nope, we've seen that a couple times already from Draisaitl and now from McDavid trying to get with speed. They've been able to do that so well in games 4, 5, and 6. Offensive zone draw. Barkov trying to find it now as we're getting close to 5 minutes left to go. It's a up 3-0 in this series. Now they find themselves locked into a game 7, but they have the lead, although it's very tenuous. Gets the steal. Good play. Is Barkov able to shove a back pass? This is Carter Verhaeghe's best game in a while, as he's got 2 points. Picked up now off the backhand. Reinhardt. The last GWG, Barkov. He tries to slap one from the left side. Skinner sees it all the way.
Now, allow 5 hold there for Stuart Skinner. Felt like that could have been more preferred for Barkov before Skinner could have fell on it and stopped that. As we look at Echo, who's got that Viking beard.
Yes, he does. And boys, let me ask you, are you feeling the heartbeat right now? Because I certainly am.
Oh boy. If you're not feeling the heartbeat right now, I don't know what you're feeling. Get up on your feet. Show us what you got.
2-1. Here's another offensive zone draw. Sam Bennett. He'll win it clean as this gets shoveled into the left side line out there right now. They would love to get another, but it's more important to keep the scoreline where it is right now for Florida. And Edmonton's got plenty of time to attack to not only tie it, even win it outright or win it in OT. Again, I'm on record saying if they tie it, I think they're winning this in OT. Darnell Nurse is stopped by the right pad of Bobrovsky. Evan Rodrigues will lose it off the back skate to Darnell Nurse. 4 minutes left to go. And as this is sent in now, RNH will get it in deep. As this is off the left side wall. Pinned. Darnell Nurse. Thought about the wrister. Still holds. Lets it go. Bobrovsky down. Here's a big rebound. This is blocked in front. It's chaos. Sent toward the net. Florida can't clear. Bobrovsky lost his goal stick. Now Edmonton still got it. This is in between some bodies. They're not even going to care if they ice it. This is going to allow Bobrovsky back as they avoid the danger.
Oh my goodness. We speak of the previous sequence with Bobrovsky down being chaotic. This is arguably even more chaotic. What in the absolute world is happening around here? Gosh knows what. Fans are on their feet. And McDavid, he was setting up this time around. It was Anton Liddell running into his own goaltender. Mikla going down to block. And then several more blocks right in front of him. Montour, Luostarinen, Lundell in the midst of it.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to put the eggs in the basket. Florida is winning this game because Edmonton scores right there. In any other scenario, Bobrovsky's down. He doesn't have his stick.
No. I felt my heart there as Bobrovsky was trying to get back up to his feet. I mean, he got ran in by a close defenseman, as Alec said. Defensive zone draw. Reinhardt can't win it. Edmonton dangerous. This wrister. Glove down. This is turned over right in front of the dots. Draisaitl could set it up. Here's a one-timer. This one goes wide. Boy, oh boy. Clear in front of the net. Here is an opportunity now for Verhaeghe. He needs to be able to kill as much time as he can. He's taking off the puck. And now if you're Florida, you got to get this on the back skate right now. You can't commit all your forwards. 2:50 left to go. And finds an entry down the middle of the ice. It's McDavid. Now for Draisaitl. They're going to be on the line for the rest of the game. Draisaitl gets hit very hard. This one goes wide. Above the right side of the red line now. 2:35 left to go in the third. McDavid off the back pivot. They still can't take him off the puck. We'll get this now back for Draisaitl. Bouchard's all alone. And this one's blocked out in front by the Cats. Draisaitl now. Back to Bouchard. Florida still up by a goal, but they're looking like they might concede. McDavid across the paint. It's a loose puck. Bobrovsky gets a piece of it twice. This goes down to the left side. Hit back down off the long flip. This is a rolling puck end over end, but it's not enough for icing as we've hit the 2-minute marker. When does Stuart Skinner leave his goal crease? An opportunity now for RNH right down the middle. This is an opportunity for Okposo to try to find it and go on behind the cage. We'll lower it down. 1:45 left to go in the third. As Florida desperate, they're hanging on for dear life right now in Game 7 with the lead. Here's Edmonton on the counter. Warren Foegele jumps and goes right in the backhand of the catching glove of Bobrovsky.
Offside, they call it. Offside, this shot is not going to count.
This is absolute insanity, gentlemen. This is exactly what we wanted to see in a Game 7. This is what we've been waiting for all series.
Like, that is now 3 times in front of Florida goal where the Oilers have had they have been in the position to deliver the tying goal and possibly the metaphorical dagger, while he would only tie the goal. Imagine
You're absolutely right.
But they have whiffed all 3 times. If this is not, I already said it, Florida is winning this game. You have missed 3 chances as the Oilers to tie this game up in front of one time where he's on the ground like a turtle on his back, no stick, completely on the ground, and you can't capitalize. The game on.
Alec, $1:35 left, and Kris Knoblauch uses the tee up.
Oilers fans are sending their prayers, and by then, when the timeout is used, you have to get the entry. Once you have firm establishment in possession, that's when you can hold Stuart Skinner and get the extra attacker out. They're going with the big guns here. McDavid, Ekholm, Bouchard, Hyman, Draisaitl. Gotta get the Nuge out there.
Looks like the Cats are holding on for dear life. That's where they are right now. $1:35 left to go in the third. John here with you alongside Alec Nava and Ian Genji. Game 7. Florida up 2-1. They're trying to reverse everything that was put up against them beforehand, as Edmonton has fought valiantly to get this to Game 7. They're teams, but this is the game we've been waiting on. How's it going to end? Rainin makes the pass. Florida's got the entry. Skinner's still in the goal crease as we're down to 1:15. Florida has never won a Stanley Cup, but they're 1:05 away now as Stuart Skinner leaves his goal crease. It's turned over right near the center circles, and now Edmonton's got to start again. 60 seconds left to go in their season. McDavid trying to make a play on his knees, and this will be banked. This will go all the way down, and the time still continues because I was not iced. 45 seconds away for the Cats. As this one gets sent in now, Ekblad with an opportunity across the wall, and Florida will just make the smart pass. It's stick chopped ahead. It's a race. This goes up the side, picked up by the Panthers. Turnaround shot, and then he gets blocked from Tkachuk. Here's a centering feed, and this goes behind the net. 20 seconds left to go. Can Florida hold on? One more time for Edmonton off the rush. Here's a pickup as this goes all the way down to 10 seconds. Ego Mikula trying to hold against the boards. Now the Cats just trying to survive. Down to 5. They've been waiting since 1996. And they are Stanley Cup champions for the first time in franchise history.
What a blowing series. What a mind-blowing turn of events.
Hey, gentlemen.
And all it took from Connor McDavid and company to ride their momentum all the way back, drag them to Alberta, then to push it to a 7th game. Beat Florida, the Panthers, finally, the fairy tale to the end of the story. In the midst of relocation talks in the last 2 decades, struggled in the midst of a slump at that time. They've waited 31 years for this moment, and third time in the series, third time in the finals. They finished the job. Well done for both sides, and well done for the Panthers.
Go ahead and give your thoughts here.
At this point, gentlemen, because Florida has finished their story. And I have this question for the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this not the best Stanley Cup final series you've seen in recent memory?
Alec, go ahead.
Well, we got you into ourselves on a classic to be remembered forever. This game was looking reminiscent, and I want to name a similar game in a Game 7 that ended in a one-goal game. You have to go back to 15 years ago. Game 7 at the Joe. One-goal game. Both teams playing their hearts out between the Penguins and the Red Wings.
Yep.
And it was hard fought, excellent goaltending. And then you have an unlikely hero in the midst of it. With one Eriksson on the losing team, Matthias Janmark, as well as we see the handshake line on the way, the refs being thrown down onto the ice. You just wish that Jimmy Eat were still playing around here, because it would be nice for a victory he saw here at Abra Bank Arena. And now you see coming to the occasion. In this case, set unlikely heroes came in the form of two players who are on goal-scoring droughts in the final. Carter Verhaeghe, since game 1. Sam Ryer did not score in a while here. Just one goal entering the finals. We see Brady Tkachuk and his family embracing each other. Keith is there, Brady's there. What a series this has been. And it is the better team that's won this. And where many people are just serenading Drake at the moment.
Yeah. And on the subject, Chuck, no matter what happens from this point on, no one will ever have any regrets about the boom or bust trade made last season to Tkachuk, because he is now, in a Florida Panthers uniform, a Stanley Cup champion.
You said it perfectly, and I know I can't segue in the sense of the players, but that's why Brad Stevens brings in somebody like Drew Holiday. That's why Zito brings in somebody like Matthew Tkachuk. You got to bring in stars to play alongside other stars. Paul Maurice now in the handshake line. Alec mentioned this. What is that now? 5-0 in game 7s?
And that was insane. Give Bobrovsky, he's the man of the match. We can expect McDavid to be the Conn Smythe winner, but that's been Oilers. Bobrovsky, man of the match here. And we have not seen a winner-take-all game at this magnitude of an instant classic. You have to go back to the World Cup final in 2022. And I covered that game between Argentina and France, and it finished, and the penalty kicks, and a team that's fighting for a first championship in a while won it. In this case, it was the Panthers. Argentina, eventual Inter Miami striker Lionel Messi won in the international stage for the first time, and winning Argentina their first championship since the days of Diego Maradona. This feels poetic for them.
I want to answer your question initially, because I never got around to it on that side as we were going across. As far as this series, I would say that it's pretty close, but I do want to say, I know it's recency bias. This might be one of the best Game 7s I've ever seen in totality, because the first 6 games, I know there's been maybe one or two that was close enough, but it looked like both teams were exchanging uppercuts against each other. But considering Florida, and for Edmonton to fight themselves all the way back, to be able to get past the Delta Stars just to get here, this is exactly what the NHL wanted to see. Granted, I think all of us would have liked it on a weekend rather than a Monday night on June 24th, but we'll take a week like this.
This is the best Stanley Cup final that we could have asked for ever. And we got taken to 7, now reverse sweep on the horizon, and then the Panthers avoid becoming the subject of all sorts of mockery. The line, everything was on the line. Reputation was on the line.
I think so, yes.
The Oilers fought hard. Unfortunately, unfortunately was not enough.
Yep. And I just put a post up there because Carter Verhaeghe, he had eat a slice of humble pie at one point. You go back to the ECHL, and it was in Kansas City, where he is beloved for being a Maverick. They tipped their hats to a former Maverick, now a two-time Stanley Cup champion.
That is very cool, Ian, that you threw that out there. And again, you know what? That's really got to feel good for Carter Verhaeghe. And that last.
It's the rat. Sorry, John. It's just all.
Yes, it's all in a pile of a corner right now as they're trying to do some housekeeping before they get the ultimate celebration. And no, you're right. I'm glad that you brought that up because we talk about it going into games 3 and 6. He was a -11. It kind of looked like he was a no-show there. He gets 2 of the biggest points, ended up getting the first goal, and then Reinhardt setting up on that side. He played a masterful game. Bobrovsky played very well. Now, this is the time, gentlemen, I want to take just a couple minutes on my part, and I won't try to blow it out of proportion here, but because I know there'll be some people that only listen to part of the stuff I say and think that I don't give them credit. But here we go. In the sense of Jim Nill and Rick Tocchet, I know that they won and head coach of the year respectively, and I understand it's not going to go to already decided. But you know what? Honestly, I can tell you this. GM of the year, if you want to go for Ken Holland, maybe it's not some of the roster moves, but I'll tell you this, because at the 2-9-1 spot, when Connor McDavid was hurt and they lost to the same, I didn't think it was Jay Woodcroft's fault. But you know what? He goes, I'm going to get Kris Knoblauch, the former coach there for Connor McDavid, down before he could start up in the NHL and get things going because we need to make a change. And why do I say coach of the year for Knoblauch? Because he largely takes the same team, completely turns around their penalty kill, which was like dead last, makes it about 97% in the postseason, and gives them a wild ride to being down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup final and getting all the way to Game 7. If that doesn't scream job security, I don't know what does. The Oilers did exactly what they could do and took it as far as they could, and that is the type of moves you want to make if you're a winning organization. If you want to be able to get some thoughts, wonders how good the Oilers can be, well, they just showed you how good they can be.
They did. I'll leave my thoughts in here. The Oilers don't build from this moment. Who knows if they're going to get back into here because the West is going to be as tough as ever. There'll be many teams vying for that vaunted trophy in the Western Conference. Well, at least I get my bracket corrected picking the Panthers. I want to continue on with the Oilers as well because you build out this moment. You want to continue building off of this and build the best team around you. And Bouchard is going to command a lot of money this summer or next summer because he's an RFA next summer. But not to mention that you have to take care of to a $10 million to spend. Adam Henrique, also in the midst of it, the Panthers began their celebrations. I think Brady Tkachuk could be making his way down onto the ice. The Oilers, no shame on them. I really can't see them anymore.
No,
I really can't.
You can't.
Because for all the talk about them being a two-man team, that's gone now. All the talk about is going to show up, if the goal team is going to show up, that's gone now. Stuart Skinner, can he build on this moment and be a stable solution in net, or be for the midterm? I'm not saying long-term just yet, but midterm could be a viable option for Skinner.
Yeah, and if he plays like this, Alec, but if he plays like this, the way that he played in elimination games, he's definitely going to be able to do the job and make sure that he continues to get wins here for the Oilers.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So we are starting to see the players celebrate on the ice. I was here for this for one reason, because Matthew Tkachuk, I think the Conn Smythe is going to be awarded right now. We know who that's going to go to. But for Matthew Tkachuk, I mean, boy, oh boy, what a whirlwind journey it's been.
Yeah, you go from getting dealt by Calgary, Stanley Cup contending team. Who knows when we get the announcements? They're caught for Gary Bettman It's going to be a mix of boos and cheers, and
Sure.
for Biz saying respect for the process.
And how much money is Connor McDavid going to get extra in his incentives when he gets the Conn Smythe question mark?
No, let's find out.
So Gary Bettman is now starting to get serenaded with the crowd, knows exactly what is going to happen here. But really, honestly, once this choice is made, and we already think we know what it's going to be, obviously, there really isn't any other choice to make. And on the grandest stage, especially when he had back-to-back games for Connor McDavid, who's now the second skater on a losing team all time to get the Conn Smythe. I mean, he had back-to-back 4-point performances that wheeled his team back.
I mean, back-to-back times he was held pointless in Game 6 and 7. That's how good the Oilers' defense has been, tightening it down. But this time around with him, he took over, went nuclear in the playoffs. I think Games 4 and 5, that solidified his bid for the Conn Smythe Trophy. But lost that in the midst of it. But It was the right choice to give it to McDavid. But who gives a gosh darn? just get the Conn Smythe Trophy. He deserves it fully, 100%.
Go ahead, Ian.
I'm just cut out on the broadcast for me. I was wondering if it did say for you.
No, it's all good. We're going to stick here with you a little bit more before we start passing around the Stanley Cup, and then I will give my thanks to both of you gentlemen, especially Alec. You've done so much yeoman's work here with me, to be able to carry the bulk of the broadcast of the game of the week and all through the playoff stuff as well. I just want to say humbly thank you, my friend, to be able to join me all the way through. All of your insightfulness, your play-by-play, everything else is so much more appreciated because you make the broadcast that much better when you're on it.
Thank you so much, John, for giving me this chance. Now, oh my goodness, this is surreal.
It is surreal. We get a chance to do this together for the first time in the sense, and the Stanley Cup is on its pedestal right now. And look, we could say whatever you want to say about the Florida Panthers. Bottom line, gentlemen, it was 4 games or it was 7 games. They got the job done.
It did. They did. 4 games or 7 games. I know one of my friends is texting me that Bobrovsky got robbed of the Conn Smythe. But let's ask ourselves the question: was he really?
No, he got Connor McDavid. Pretty much was an avalanche.
Yeah, I mean, Connor McDavid. Look, the performance he put up in these finals alone. I mean, come on.
It really showcases, doesn't it, Ian, in the sense of, look, as much as I like Nathan McKinnon, as much as I like some of the other players, there's definitely somebody like him.
Yeah. And you know what? If Connor McDavid never wins a Stanley Cup in his lifetime, he, second only to Gretzky, he's the most important Oiler in their. Okay, maybe third to Mark Messier too. It goes Gretzky, Messier, and McDavid.
You're not going to get any arguments from me as the commissioner and Alexander Barkov take the picture with the Stanley Cup with the pyrotechnics going off, and Barkov raises above his head, and the Florida Panthers get ready to celebrate.
It's a party down at a 305 with Mr. Worldwide, Pitbull himself.
All right, so who's going to get the cup after Barkov? I'm ready to see.
I like our Posu's chances.
For?
I would think either Okposo or Bobrovsky. Okposo has spent time on mediocre Sabres and Islanders teams. So I think Okposo is deserving of it. Bobrovsky, let's see. Who's it going to be?
Sergei Bobrovsky. The Stanley Cup above his head. I know he had all the weight on his shoulders, from games 4, 5, and 6. But boy, oh boy, the Stanley Cup's got to feel weightless now.
He's going to lift that one up high from the Florida beaches in Miami. Pitbull doing day-to-day operations as a co-owner of Trackhouse Racing at NASCAR with Justin Marks. He has to be feeling happy about that too. Happy about this moment too, knowing that his Panthers are part of a historic group as Bobrovsky heads off to Okposo.
That is so cool to see the joy and jubilation from these guys. Honestly, it feels like you're a kid celebrating again. And this is why you love it. And look, let's just be honest here with you. You go across Alec Andrew Bennett several seasons ago, correct? You have the President's Trophy, the Cardiac Cats. They fall a little bit. Tampa is able to punch them up pretty good. And then you go ahead with Bill Zito. You make that trade. You bring in Matthew Tkachuk. You bring in Paul Maurice. That's a lot to be able to do and a lot to think about considering your team was already really good.
Yeah. You have to consider all the factors of that Bill Zito being behind the operation. See, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, watch what you have before he hands out to Dmitry Kulak. Back to Florida on a second stint. He was drafted by the Panthers, essentially a journeyman around the NHL. Then came back to Florida on a one-year deal, and he listed with them on Aaron Ekblad, first overall in 2014, on a stacked top 4 draft class that includes him, Reinhart, Draisaitl, and Bennett. Ekblad, they slept.
He almost dropped the cup.
Oh, don't do what they call me Kilo did.
Don't do it.
No. Don't go sliding under the ice. No.
Or
I do my Darryl Waltrip impression.
And actually, a guy made a tweet that I think should be highlighted. Let me read it.
sure.
Sergei Bobrovsky went from one of the biggest albatross contracts in hockey 15 months ago to having a legit argument for a spot in the Hockey Hall of Fame when his career is all said and done.
Absolutely agree with that. I think he nailed it.
And you did perfectly. And you see if you took note of the players who received the cup next, it's the 3 guys from that 2014 draft class. Ekblad to Reinhart to Bennett.
Very
1,
cool.
2, and 4 in that order. How?
That's crazy because, again, you talk about that. You also had Liam Draisaitl in that draft class. That draft class is going to end up being pretty good when we look back through the history books.
Just don't talk about that to Islanders fans.
Oh, absolutely, because they've had to deal with some of that right now. But at least, but if we're going to go ahead and knock down firsts, we got that here for the Florida Panthers. I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat and do this again. I kind of had that thought alongside the Colorado Avalanche. Then you had to deal with losing Nazem Kadri and some of the other things like that. But this is still a relatively young team. They came out pretty hungry after what happened to them against Vegas last year. And I think at least when you take a culmination from the start of the year, what happens against Vegas, this one's got to feel extra special.
This will be remembered for a lifetime among the Panthers players. You bounce back. Oof. You see, Vladimir Tarasenko is now a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He won over the Blues 5 years ago. I don't know. Which one of the two feels better between this one and the first one? But I think the first one for Tarasenko has to feel very special to him. The second one is icing on the cake for him.
Tarasenko has also had himself a very good career as Okposo is being interviewed and the Stanley Cup continues to be passed around. I'll hang out with you gentlemen a little bit more before we close the cast. Again, just want to say thank you for being able to join in. I mean, we could have expected, and Ian, I know you can jump in on this series was 3-0. I said this. I'm like, Edmonton's going to get one. They'll find a way to feel good at the Rogers Place crowd and have a good dominating win. And they got one 8-1. I did not expect this to go this far, and it finally happened in Florida's hands. Maybe it should have been about 8 days ago, but holy cow, the intrigue in this series was an all-time high.
from start to finish, and even through the attempted reverse sweep. And even though we didn't get the reverse sweep, this finals was special. It'll be told for many generations down for the line. This year's final is basically where were you when it happened?
Yeah.
And you're gonna pass it on to your kids, your grandkids, where you were when it happened, even in Miami. For Edmonton, even though it may be bitter the defeat, push the Panthers onto a 7th game, and while we didn't get to the ultimate goal, it brings hope back to the city of Edmonton.
I think so, Alec. Sense too, with Knoblauch, with everything with Ken Allen and all that, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the way that Ekman we talked about that too. But in the sense, this allows this team and this core to have belief that they can try to go deep again. We could talk about whether or not there's some other flaws, but I thought you said it beautifully earlier. I think this run has kind of squashed away some of that. Are they going to have a 96% penalty kill in the post? But at least they've proven to you that the bottom 6 can more than handle their own, and an Edmonton team can play defense to win games. A 16-game win streak can prove that, and a 7-game push to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think, proves that.
Yeah, it all proves that. The Oilers, they're built for it, and we can expect more of them. And of note, Barkov is the first ever Finnish captain to hoist the Stanley special for him. But also, we want to note something as well, that with Leon Draisaitl be getting projected to have a hefty pay raise by some inside Edmonton, there's some belief that Draisaitl could be taking a pay cut on his next contract to stay with the Oilers, much like what David McKinnon did.
I think if the Edmonton Oilers are going to get back to the point that we see right now and ultimately lift this thing, Alec, I think that's going to happen. You and I talked about Darnell Nurse and some of that stuff. He played well as this series had went along. Again, he had that big plus minus. He's got that contract. That's going to be hard. Have to save money there. They're probably going to have to eat some money in some sort of retention and a trade if all possible for Nurse. There's going to be some things to do. Keep in mind this core is going to stay the same, but they've got to be able to keep that cap alive so that way they can add whatever they can to this team and try to do it again.
You could run it back, but you got to add as well.
Yes.
You have a crowd that you can use. You've got to find a way. If you can get Darnell Nurse offloaded, who knows? There's going to be salary retained in it. If you want to keep Henrique, but you want to still be sure to have the best team possible. Brodeur, keep. Cody Ceci, I'm 50-50 on him, but probably one more year of him would do. But Darnell Nurse, he could be gone at the time. You got to keep your core around. Fogle stays. McLeod stays. Connor Brown absolutely must keep.
Played right now, and Matthias Janmark, they've really kind of knocked themselves down as automatic keeps. I got one more thing here, and then I'll let you guys go. Thank you for staying on the expanded post game as we go to the Conn Smythe and the Stanley Cup ceremonies. But what does this do for Paul Maurice?
I mean, I don't. Okay, so Alec will probably expand on his resume, but from what I gather, Paul Maurice has been a head coach in the NHL for a while now, and from what I've heard, either I haven't quite gotten it. Either he's had great success with Game 7s, or he had great success, or he has not had any success.
He's undefeated in Game 7s, Paul Maurice.
So yeah. Well, Alec, can you go ahead and give us the background on this man's resume with the Cup?
So he's been here twice before, once with the Hurricanes and last year with the Panthers. He's waited 26 years before the first Stanley Cup. In his 26th season, having coached 1,008 season games as he is getting the Stanley Cup.
Wow, what a picture!
Oh, yeah, this is elated. One of the most fiery coaches in the NHL. He's known his players to the fullest extent, and he is one that can motivate anyone to work hard, and with hard work and perseverance, you get rewarded. Paul Maurice, who has won 4 Game 7s and lost 0 before this, most recently last year against Boston, in which we covered that yet. But this year, it is a cherry on top to an illustrious legacy. No matter where he goes from here, you'd wonder if a Stanley Cup is going to put him on the Hockey Hall of Fame as a builder of the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I think it might, Alec. And again, I don't know if Zito really envisioned Paul Maurice to be able to do this, but it seems like from what you talked about and some of the numbers, his winning percentages continue to shoot up as he's gone from team to team to team and gained experience. And Paul Maurice, as you said, master motivator, one of the very best quotes. If you're a journalist and you get a chance to be in the room, that's who you want to talk to, no doubt about it. Paul Maurice is able to get the job done, and the Florida Panthers find a way. Again, a 2-1 result in Game 7, an absolute masterclass. Gentlemen, it has been an absolute joy to work this one with you, and I can't wait to do it again next year. And you know what? The offseason is going to start pretty much as soon as this day is done. We get the draft in a few days, and I know we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, well, actually, movement has already started with Linus Allmark going to the Senators.
We talked about that in the first period, in the first intermission.
So you asked what this does for Paul Maurice. I'll make this quick.
Mm-hmm.
You said he waited 26 years, got to the finals twice, lost twice. This is going to be me biased as a Chiefs fan, but anytime a coach wins their first after an extended period of time, I liken it back to Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Every time.
Good comparison.
And just like Andy Reid, this man has the attitude, he's got the acumen, he's got the respect of his players, and that all but gives him the opportunity to coach the Panthers to a dynasty if they want it. If they want it that bad, Paul Maurice can coach the Florida Panthers to a dynasty.
It's certainly possible. And you know what, Ian? It also tells you this. To be around the game as long as you have, he's got to be so well respected across the NHL. He's even gets a chance to see Roberto Luongo lift the Stanley Cup as a member of the coaching staff. So that's also pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and sign out now. Thank you, and I appreciate it. And this was so much fun. We'll get a chance to do it again soon.
Yes, sir.
Next season, the opening puck drop, who knows if we're going to split opening night coverage. And then with you covering the banner night for the Florida Panthers, this is going to be special as they have my man, Evan Rodrigues. Evan, you've earned this, buddy.
Yes, sir.
See you, Joe.
See you,
You
gentlemen.
guys.
Well, all's well that ends well was all I will say. We spent the most of the time, and I gave the Edmonton Oilers as much credit as I possibly could. But you know what? I could feel good right now because the Florida Panthers lifted the Stanley Cup, so I don't have to see all the other memes. The Cats get the job done. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's certainly been a memorable one. It's the first ever in Panthers history. Talk soon.